Hey, so what is up, guys? Welcome to Heavyweight Nation podcast number 5. And today we are joined by Ari Gross.
Hey, what's
So if
up?
you've not yet, make sure to like and subscribe to be notified for future episodes. So what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. So I guess we'll jump right into this. So you're a wrestler. You're in New Jersey. You're in your junior year of high school right now.
Yeah,
About to be
junior.
finished. Yeah. So you're about to go into senior year. A lot of big things are coming. What do you have in plan?
So for my senior year, I just want it to be a really great, fun year of wrestling. A lot of people focus on just winning and saying, go hard or go home. And I think that sometimes that could put too much pressure on yourself. I've had that mentality in the past. This year, obviously I'm going to train hard and I'm going to try to win, but I just want to go out there and have fun, wrestle a whole lot of matches, make it real memorable my senior year. It's not something once you graduate, you don't get those days back of high school wrestling. So I wanna enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, of course. Like me finishing my senior year this year, I pretty much felt like a lot of the same thing. I mean, season didn't end
Yeah,
the way I wanted to, but like it happens. So like you could just tell us like a little bit about like what your career, like what you've accomplished so far.
yeah. So I mean, I haven't been wrestling for that long, so I don't really have much of whole lot of accomplishments and accolades.
Yeah.
I actually only started wrestling in the beginning of last school year.
Yeah.
Uh, my friend had been doing it since he was a freshman. We were in the same grade. And I was going through a lot of stuff beginning of my sophomore year, and he was telling me to join the wrestling team. And I think a lot of us wrestlers have this experience. It took a while for somebody to convince you and want to do it right away. But once I came to that first practice, and you wrestle, you have no idea what you're doing, but you're just having fun, scrapping
Yeah.
with some dude, and like you're just hooked. And like from then on, I just knew wrestling's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So from there, we didn't get to wrestle a whole lot of matches. I go to to a Jewish private school, so we're not like the exact like a Division 1 school. We don't really go to state, but we wrestle our matches at the end of the year, or at least the end of the season actually. We get to wrestle in like a national Jewish tournament, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What school do you go to?
I go to Torah Academy of Bergen County, TABC.
Uh, so you're not like in our normal division.
No, it wouldn't be.
So you don't wrestle in districts at all.
No, we don't get a chance to.
So like, what's the
And
tournament?
there's also the issue if you have a Jewish or in a religious school,
Yeah.
you have the Sabbath, and we can't really wrestle on that day. So usually, a lot of tournaments you'll have, whether that includes districts, regional states, whatever it is, can also a lot of times, they take place over Saturdays, right? They take place
Yeah.
over the weekend. And for religious observant Jews, we can't wrestle on Saturdays. So that's also another reason why, we've never been able to compete for those kind of things.
Uh, I mean that's interesting. I mean, like, what do you have like a postseason tournament at all?
Yeah, so the tournament I mentioned earlier, the Jewish national tournament,
Yeah.
it's not officially Jewish national. It has nothing to do with so it's really run by it's an invitational. It's still technically somewhat of a private tournament. They invite
Yeah.
schools, Jewish schools, but the idea behind it is, like I mentioned earlier, that a lot of Jewish schools, Jewish observant wrestlers, they don't get a chance to compete in all these tournaments because they're on Saturdays, and that tournament was created to give these kids an opportunity to wrestle with kids like them, other Jews, and get to have that feeling of wrestling in a tournament and sense of accomplishment, and get that experience that you don't get from just going to dual meets and having matches.
Yeah. Well, like your regular season, so it's basically just structured so you don't really have like quads and Saturdays and stuff.
Hey, what did you say?
So like your regular season, how is that like structured? So like it's basically the same as like a normal season, but like on Saturdays you just don't have stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I've never been to like a public school program. I've never gone to I've never been on a public school wrestling team, but I know you guys usually have practice. Was it like 4 or
You
five,
haven't
six
wrestled
times
with
a
any
week?
public school teams?
we do wrestle some public school teams, but you guys have a lot of practices a week. When
Yeah,
you're in a public school program, with Jewish schools, Jewish private schools, you also have the dual curriculum. You're learning Jewish studies, so they usually have a little bit less time. So we have practice usually about 2 to 3 times a week.
yeah,
So we usually have, let's say, like a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing going, and maybe a month or two into the season, around October, November, we start getting matches. We have our end of the season, tournament, in February, and that's usually like the end of our season. And sometimes maybe we'll have a couple off season practices. That's usually how our season goes.
yeah. So regular season wise, it's not like a lot different from like us. You just don't have like you just probably don't have like the same volume of matches, right?
Yeah, not as many
Yeah.
practices, not as many matches.
Because
Definitely.
this year, what was it? Going into districts, I had 33 matches.
Yeah, I only had about like maybe 10.
You only had 10.
Yeah, not nearly as many.
Yeah. And did you wrestle like in every single varsity match? Or
So there was one match where I finally took a vacation to Florida,
yeah.
and so I missed one match, but I wrestled in all the other ones.
All right. So basically, you would have like 11 matches, and if you went like decently far in the tournament, you would have had about like 15 maybe.
Yeah, I mean the tournament wasn't that big, but it's
Yeah.
only so many Jewish wrestling teams out
Yeah.
there. Um, so yeah, like it used to be a little bigger, but nowadays I think in my bracket there was something like 13 guys. But yeah, usually if you won it all, you'd go like 3-0 or 4-0
Yeah.
depending on your
Okay.
seed. So it wasn't not like a
Yeah.
massive bracket.
Is that just with like New Jersey schools or
So it's
all over?
mostly schools in tri-state area, but I think there's one from Chicago. They
Mhm.
used to have one from Atlanta. You had one you had from a couple other places. So it's like I said, it's still mostly somewhat in that in this tri-state area, in New York, New Jersey, wherever it is. But there's a couple other schools involved as well.
Yeah, because I know about like the whole Jewish school thing. I don't really know how the state tournament works. But, like they're obviously like not as common as like other religious schools, and like a lot of other schools from like other religions just don't have sports in general.
Yeah,
So it kind of
that
just like weird the way you have to go about everything.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's obviously like it's different.
yeah. So just like wrestling in general, you joined as a sophomore. You entered like the curve like pretty late because like I started as
Yeah.
a freshman. I just randomly showed up one day because somebody told me to. I was like, why not? So
Yeah, I mean that's how
obviously like
wrestling works.
yeah,
You join for whatever reason.
yeah. The first day is always like you're fun and optimistic. It's about what's gonna happen. The second day is like boom, it all hits you. So like, what was like the change like for you? Just like hopping into it.
So I think one of the first things was like, at the time I was going through some rough things, and I was also um I was like, I'd played various sports throughout my life. I played basketball, played football, I played hockey, whatever it is. Um and I was looking for something that I wanted to be like become really, really good at. I thought I was like pretty decent at those sports I just mentioned, but I wasn't like great at it. And I was looking for a sport, something that could just be like not something that I was great at, but like, an outlet in life, something to do. And when I joined wrestling, I found that thing. I found that thing I wanted to do with my life. I found that thing I would have passion for. So I think the whole time, even after that first practice, no matter how tiring things were, no matter how hard wrestling was, and we all know it takes time to enjoy it. You
Yeah,
don't enjoy it as much in the beginning because it's so tiring. But even after I got past that first rush wave of excitement, I think I loved it so much because I was like I was passionate from the start. I always wanted to be good at it, and I was always asking like questions like seniors and my coaches about wrestling. So I think that's how like I got through that transition going from that first practice and slowly become like who I am today.
yeah. I mean, like I really experienced like a lot of the same stuff. Like the first day there, freshman year, like so I got called up to varsity for football. So basically, our postseason went a little bit like into the beginning weeks of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So like basically, I just showed up late there. Nobody really knew who I was. So I go through the first practice. I wasn't cleared medically or anything. So it basically just made me run. And I literally almost died the first day. So I'm like, I was just sitting there. I got cleared the second day. I mean, I went to practice. So it was me and this senior kid who was also a first year wrestler, but that kid's obviously going to be a lot stronger than I am. Just basically bullied like the living crap out of me. the first day.
Yeah, good
And
stuff.
then yeah, like I ended up going 1-18 my freshman year, but the one win was the varsity pin, so I mean, kind of evens out.
Yeah, I mean that's good. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't win any matches. What's funny is actually that you brought up memory from when I did go to my first wrestling practice. I probably weighed about about like 125, 130 at the time, and I remember I think I came to the practice a bit late with my friend who had convinced me to join. I was actually a joint practice between my school and his school on a Sunday morning. And I remember he was telling me like, well, explaining what going live meant and trying to teach me the half Nelson right before I'm going in.
yeah,
It's like before I even started wrestling. Right? And like, and I'm like scrapping with one of his friends who's a bit lighter than me. And like, I don't know, I somehow managed to get behind him. I don't know how because I didn't know how to wrestle and he did. And like, and I just kind of like locked my hands and threw him onto me and basically like pinned myself.
yeah,
It was good. So yeah, rolling like like with their 106, it's all good stuff. Like this is how like you develop your passion for wrestling. You're just going out there and having fun sometimes.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that happens. Yeah, like we had like a bunch of scrimmages, like, and I was like always like the biggest person at scrimmages, like when we just scrimmaged like with other teams. Until like this one guy was there. He was like, what was he? He was like 6'4", 270, right?
Yeah,
And he
it's a big
wasn't even
heavyweight.
like fat. Like, yeah, he was built pretty big. He wrestles at Muhlenberg right now, which is like one of the top D3 schools in the country, right? So he's pretty good. He plays football also. And I wrestled
Yeah,
with him. All he did. So I'm 6'1", 265. So I'm not like small, right? Like I'm
yeah,
not physically built into my body or anything yet. I benched like 170 pounds and like that was it. All he did was literally he got a collar tie on me. He snapped me. It wasn't even like a full snap. It was like a half snap with like a foot fake, right? My face bounced off the mat so hard that like I just didn't move for a couple seconds.
that's your first. That's one of your first memories of wrestling.
Yeah, no, not it was a rough day like that, but that was like the first thing that happened
Yeah, I
because my
mean
coach was like,
that's also part of
yeah,
it. I
because I
think
know my
like
coach called him aside. He's like, "Oh, this is a first year kid. Don't hurt him too bad." Like he definitely wasn't even trying to hurt me. Like he's a chill dude. Like he didn't do anything crazy. He just snapped me. I just fell. Like he was bad. Just watch me
yeah,
go down.
yeah, I think we go relate to like getting beat up.
Yeah,
When we first joined wrestling, I think it's great. I like how it ties into like the idea that you got to be tough if you want to
yeah,
wrestle. Because like even from your first day, you're gonna get beat up. If you're a basketball player, you go into tryouts, whatever it is, you make the team and you're playing with the varsity guys. Like yeah, they'll be more skilled than you, and they're gonna look to do whatever they can and try to test you, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, they're not physically beating you up, and
yeah.
you still know what you're doing. Wrestling, you're physically getting beaten up when you first join. You can't do anything about that. You got to learn your own way. You got to sink or swim on your own, and that's what I love about this sport.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. You're like the first like non-heavyweight I've had on here.
Oh yeah,
Like the first one was literally just done with one of my friends from my wrestling team, so we're just talking about wrestling. Like, the second one was done with one of my other friends. He's a fitness trainer, so we didn't really even talk about wrestling. It was more about his fitness page because like I run his fitness page kind of. Like I help him
yeah,
run it. So we just talked about that, like what his goals are, his transformation getting from like 270 to 220. The third one was an actual heavyweight. He just DM'd me, had a cool story. He was like, I got through a lot of injuries. I ended up, I struggled with like weight my whole life. He cut from 330 to 285 his freshman year. Junior, he
wow,
cut from like 345. Barely made weight. He cut 12 pounds in 2 days to make weight for sectionals. And then,
it's a good story.
yeah, it was interesting. He's trying to wrestle D2 now, so he's done pretty good. Um, the third guy was D1 commit to Binghamton, Colin Burns. Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
just a stud. So,
funny story. Did you see? I think maybe Flo posted it.
which one?
A recent story about Binghamton coach. I remember his name. That he got into an argument with John Smith after one of the national tournaments, and
Oh yeah, about them having
when
more
he mentioned
Americans.
yeah when he mentioned that he had two All-Americans and John Smith had one. He
Yeah,
said they started wrestling, had him on elevated single 5 seconds in, ten
yeah. I
seconds
mean,
later
they're
he's
just messing
upside
around
down
at that
stretch.
point. It's like
Yeah, but
I don't
you
think
just
any
gotta
coaches
love
really
those
have beef with
stories.
each other.
Yeah.
I mean, Binghamton would have had at least one All American in Lou Dupre. So,
Yeah.
yeah, in the fourth, yeah, he was Colin Burns. He's a D1 commit. So we just talked about like his journey through wrestling. The main thing I do with like the heavyweights is like we go through like the heavyweight rankings. We're like, oh, who's gonna place next year? What do you think is gonna happen with
Yeah.
the? Because they all had like really different outlooks, right?
Yeah. I
Because
mean, I don't have
besides
like
like,
a Flow subscription, so it's hard for me like
yeah.
follow like the high school,
No, I just like put up the
stuff that's
internet
going on.
rankings because my Flow subscription expired, right? And we would just literally
Oh,
just go through thinking of things because basically the only guys we know who already is top two. We know Gable Stevenson's the best, right?
yeah. I
Because
mean,
I
then like
talked to some
Cassar's out.
guys, yeah. Some people had Mason Paris placing as low as fifth. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. He was gonna take second, Cassiope third.
yeah, this year, yeah,
That
we're
was
talking
pretty.
about
That's
next
pretty
year.
uniform.
Yeah,
Next year, I mean, why so low? He did so well against everybody except Gable.
because what he said is he has Gable Stevenson taken first. Because like if you, it's not like that. It's like when you're a heavyweight, you know exactly like what's happening, right? If you look at
Yeah.
Mason Paris, he had no real technical ability. It was all just his physical strength, right? So he was saying if you give Tony Cassiope an extra year, he takes out Mason Paris, and I agree with that. And then he
Yeah.
had, Greg Kirkliet.
Yeah, I heard of him. You see,
Yeah.
he looks like a really athletic heavyweight.
Oh, he's insanely strong. Dude benches like 420 or something like that.
Wow, that's whack. Like
Yeah.
stronger than Derek White.
No, the thing about Derek White is he's not even as strong as he looks. He's just like
Oh, yeah. I always thought like heard like
yeah,
he was like the crazy strong. And I thought it was funny because like everybody talks about like, yo, I wish I got Casares biceps, but
yeah,
Derek White had guns, man. The guy
yeah.
guy had
Derek
biceps like
White, yeah.
this wide. It's
The thing
crazy.
about him, he just wasn't athletic. Like he was just big,
Yeah.
not big, but like he was like bulky.
I mean, I'm sure he was in shape. Like, definitely looked like
Yeah,
it.
of course he's in shape, but like he wasn't.
Yeah, but
It would Kasar
he
game.
couldn't compete with guys who had the speed and technique as like Gable or
Yeah,
Cassar.
it's like again, like you see Anthony Kasar, he's a one move dude, but you can't stop it.
Yeah, he's got a great
Yeah,
double.
he just the thing is like when you're wrestling a guy like Derek White or Gable Stevenson, you can't really blast double them.
Yeah, they're
You gotta
very
hit
hard.
like some outside shots. Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, I don't know if you wanna still talk about the whole Gable thing, but like, you
go
look
on.
at you look at the matches he lost to Cassar last
Yeah,
year, um, and like both of them, it was like he would get taken down, and like he wasn't like really wrestling from bottom. Like it was just like I thought it was like kind of interesting.
what do you mean
Like
like from
uh
that?
like he
Like the
would get
Big Ten?
taken down, but like yeah, and the NCAA final. Yeah,
I
both
mean, Big
matches
Ten.
Cassar got
He
like
was trying to get out. Kasar
yeah
was low key just stalling on top a little bit.
yeah.
And NCAA is
I
like,
was
because if you see Kasar's ride, basically all he does is you know what a head lever is or
Yeah,
forearm, whatever it's called.
Spencer Lee does that. You
Yeah,
grab the wrist, go head in the armpit, and you drive.
yeah, but not exactly the same thing. Spencer Lee does it to like set up like tilts and stuff. When Kasar does
Spencer
it,
Lee's a god on
he
top.
just drives and he has the ankle too, so you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, so because people underestimate Kasar's top ride, like Kasar can ride people like if he wants to.
Yeah, I remember mentioning it once in a comment. Someone's like, "Nah, it's just a one-time thing." But like you could tell he's good on top. At least
Yeah,
decent, like in terms of riding.
I just think but he kind of I really think he did stall Gable out. Like I love Kasar. I want him to win. He's from New Jersey, so
Yeah,
yeah.
obviously. So it's like, did I know how was your reaction when you heard after CBS won that Big Ten title this year
When
when
he
he
go
was
to New
just
Jersey,
yeah
dude, he was a dude like I always used to. Like I didn't get into wrestling. What was it until my freshman year? The first match I ever saw was on NJ.com. Right? You've seen like all the wrestling matches getting posted. It was
yeah.
Sebastian Rivera pitting Pat Glory in the state finals.
Oh, that's good
Did you ever
stuff.
see that one?
No, I never actually
He
seen that
was down
match.
4-3 going into the third period. Ended up getting two takedowns and pinning him at the buzzer in the third period.
Yeah, it sounds like didn't like Isaiah White have a match like that where he was down, he got a takedown off locking up a cradle, but then he got the pin like at
Who?
the buzzer. I think it was Isaiah White. Somebody I think in the 165. When someone from like somewhere in that weight, they were down by one in like
Yeah.
last 5 seconds. They got a takedown by locking up a cradle, and then they cranked it and got the pin. It was
You know who probably was probably Evan Wick from Wisconsin.
Maybe I was thinking that, but I think it might have been against Wisconsin. I'm not sure.
Oh, Chance Marsteller from Lock Haven.
Oh yeah.
I think it was because I know Evan Wick pinned a Chance Marsteller in Cradles twice, and Marsteller beat Evan Wick in his final match to place third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was a Domi. I
yeah.
don't know.
That weight class was crazy. Like Alex Marinelli got pinned in the spladle by
Really?
David McFadden in the seventh place match. Yeah,
Oh, this was NCAs. I thought you meant like a Domi. So I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what are
I
you
think
talking about?
nothing's more exciting like when you see Chenzo and
And Marinelli go at it. That's crazy.
oh their upper body is so sad. They both have both went to like did Greco as a kid as like when they were younger because
No, not
they're
really.
good
Like
long guys.
honestly, like the reason Shenzo does because he's a short, stocky dude, right? Marinelli just tested him way too much in that match. Like,
Yeah, I was
he just,
thinking that. Like,
yeah,
I mean, tell me what you think. My
he
opinion
just
on
came out
this.
cocky.
My opinion on Marinelli was like, I mean, you would talk whatever happened like the first couple matches of their
Hmm.
career. You know, Marinelli's good with the barrel. It was real good with the barrel. He kept it tight. I think the match that he lost to Chenzo this year, I think he forced it. Right, he was forcing that body
Yeah,
lock,
of
and Chenzo
course.
used against him. I think the reason why he was able to win the second time around is because he was more patient. He wasn't forcing it the body
Yeah,
lock as much, and he was able to get to his shots. And he win that match off of a leg attack. Like he
yeah.
got
He
like
won. He won off of like what was like. It was basically just him diving out of the leg and finishing it.
yeah, and you know, like as exciting as to see like upper
Yeah,
body, it's always good to see like some good old technical fundamental
yeah.
wrestling. Like you always love to see it.
165 is like a weight class for some reason where like guys throw a lot. I
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
know why.
remember the I Marchenzo thing? Like that
Yeah,
was crazy. I mean, like I hadn't been like into wrestling. Like I
yeah,
told you, I only started last year.
yeah,
Man, it must have been crazy, especially when it happened the second time. Like,
yeah. Of course.
you got tripped.
The thing is like if Imar's like Chenzo can't compete with Imar anymore. Like Imar texts him hands down if they wrestle again.
Yeah, especially in freestyle. I'm
Yeah,
always like, I mean, the man got like this close, like to being JB.
yeah.
Like,
He beat him
it,
once in one of the matches.
right, and didn't JB get a takedown like the final seconds on another match in that series?
Yeah, I mean he could have very well 2-0 Jordan Burroughs. Like he got beaten. What was it 9-0 in the second match?
Yeah, very similar to like the
Yeah,
David Taylor kind of thing from a couple years ago.
yeah.
Oh, that was also a crazy match when I think got not one but two cradles in freestyle
On Jordan
for
Burroughs, yeah, and Burroughs
yeah,
came back
that
with
was crazy. And
double
then
one.
JB got a blast and he got to go behind at the end and it was just like he's just the man. Like he is the man when it comes to like those clutch last second takedowns. Like you gotta love JB for it. He's just like the ultimate
Yeah,
at like when you think about it.
it's like yeah, he looks like he's just like saving himself. Like I don't know why, because he doesn't really have like a top game on like
Yeah, I think he got a
he's
little
trying to
better. I think he got a little better from like his college days in
yeah.
terms of
I mean, he's
like
not going to
there
get
was
better
folks.
now. Like he's nearing his time.
Yeah, but what I do respect about it, and like I think anybody could say this, right? We all know he's not the same in terms like speed wise. He's not the same as he was like 2011, 2012,
Yeah,
2013.
2012 was his peak.
Dude, his level changes, his speed was unreal. You could not follow it. The world could not do anything. That's why he went undefeated the first 2 years.
Yeah,
What I respect about JB, and like he said this himself, is that what I learned, that whatever I lost in athleticism, I learned how to like perfect my technique.
hmm
And
yeah,
it's stronger, it's more advanced, it's got better variety, it's got more range. And like I really respect that JB, like after all this time, he's still making like as a 9 straight world teams.
yeah,
And like, and most world champions in wrestling like are well under the age of 30. And like it's
yeah.
just crazy.
But you
Yeah,
also have to
he's a
consider that Dakes in the weight class now,
right. Yeah. And like
and Imar
and
too. Like
yeah,
what I'm gonna say, like I'm gonna go on a limb and say this. I say, whoever gets the 1 seed is taking the spot because they don't have to wrestle Imar in the semis.
that's true. But then again, at the end of the day, it's all like,
Yeah.
Dick gets the semifinal bye, right? And JB goes straight to Final X. I
No,
think
it's the
is
Olympic trials, dude.
well sorry, not Final X, whatever they call
The
the
Olympic
Olympic
trials. I
trials.
don't think it works like that. I think they still have to go through the bracket. I think JB
Oh
gets a
really?
bye to the finals, and then
Yeah,
Dake
yeah.
has to wrestle
I'm
Hamza.
gonna look into it.
Yeah,
I think they get some kind of buy. It's not all the
yeah.
way, but
I mean, I didn't wrestle in 2016, so I didn't really follow this stuff.
yeah. I mean, that's
I,
also a thing. Like, you know, you can't like harken too much on the past, but like
yeah,
sometimes I really do wish I've been wrestling for like a long time. Like,
yeah.
it's such a great
Me
sport.
too,
Like,
honestly.
fun. It's also good stuff.
Yeah,
The only
I
hard part is like if you don't have a full subscription, like it's not mainstream, so it's not like watching like an NFL NBA game. You just you just stream it, you watch it through. Like it's real tough to find like
yeah.
footage, to find like to find everything.
Yeah, you just gotta get one of your friends and like log on to it. Cause like
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I know a couple people with flow accounts. They just let me borrow them whenever. So
yeah. I mean, I've asked like a million people. Like
yeah,
90% of people don't have one. Like the 10% that do it, like either like pay from some other dude or like they can't really give it to me. It's like some complicated thing. So
yeah,
I can't
it's
really get one.
expensive.
Yeah, it is real expensive. But I mean, at least Phil's like posting like at least some matches on YouTube. I think they posted the Soriano Fix marathon match recently.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched the whole thing.
I'm pretty sure all these matches are on YouTube.
Yeah,
That
I
Who's Number
mean,
One match is on
they
YouTube.
still keep plenty of matches,
Yeah,
specifically for closest reasons. They need something to keep.
like they post the good
Mm.
matches, but like not the great ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you call it? And then like we were talking about like 74 kilos before, and like that's not even like the only thing that's going down.
yeah,
You have 97. It's going to be crazy because first of all, you
yeah,
have the whole Snyder Cox wrestle off.
mhm.
A lot of people believe Snyder's. I meant that Cox is probably going to take it.
Yeah, and you got Bo
I
Nickal also.
Yeah, Yeah, you don't want to sleep on Bo Nickel. I do respect the fact that Jaden, after hearing all this talk about how Bo Nickel is the most dangerous wrestler in the world, how he really shut him down. He kept him quiet. I had bigger respect. And then right after that, he goes right out and does not let up a single point at Worlds.
Yeah,
I don't think Jaden Cox could have done a better job out there. So like to say that, you have to at least put him as like your number one seed. Like, yeah, I believe
no,
he's
he's
gonna
not
make
going to
it.
be the number one seed for the sole fact that Snyder is the held the spot for
Yeah,
2016.
what I mean is like not from like official rankings. I mean like
Yeah,
in your own head, who you have the who's your favorite guy
yeah,
to go out there and represent the USA for
yeah.
97 kilograms, right?
Another
So
guy.
you have the whole Snyder Cox and Bo Nickel thing, and then it doesn't end nationally, right? You
Yeah,
got of course Sajalive is the best pound for pound wrestler in the world.
yeah, and
He
he's
has
also
been ever since he beat Snyder in the
yeah,
rematch, and before then the dude's crazy. You got I don't know if you remember, I forget exactly which tournament it was. Mohammedian from Iran, he pinned Snyder, tech Bo Nickel.
yeah.
He's also medaled past the world. Yeah, that guy's crazy. I don't
But
know.
the main
I have
thing,
no idea
like
what he's
I
gonna do.
see with that is, Bo hasn't been on the doesn't know like the feel of like
Freestyle.
those like of the no not a freestyle like of like the Russian, just like the feel like like every Russian dude has like that feel to them.
Yeah, I mean they have their own. This is what I was telling somebody. I think like a difference in what you see, not just USA versus Russian, but American wrestling versus any other thing. I think you get this in folk style. American wrestlers and coaches like they teach it that you learn positions, you learn chain wrestling. You get from one thing to another. Like okay, you set it up, you take your shot, you scramble. Wherever you finish your shot, you get your takedown, you go for a turn. With a lot of other countries, like I feel like especially with Russia, it's all about the moves. Like, okay, a guy gets in this position, all right, do this big move, throw him on his back, roll through here, do a crazy some cartwheel shit. Like, like that's usually like I feel like the difference between American and non like international wrestling. So like
Yeah,
you get a lot from like guys wrestling folk style. Um and I think so like but at the same time, like we do have to keep in mind, it's a Bo won a U23 World Championship.
yeah.
So like obviously that's not the highest level, but he's definitely like legit in terms of his
But
ability
you
to
also
compete
have to
internationally.
consider that like Bo is still like a top five guy in the like a top 10 guy in the world at a senior level.
Yeah, he probably is.
Yeah,
I think like if somehow we were able to put two guys out there, or three actually, at
yeah,
97 kilograms, he could probably make it out somewhere,
yeah,
probably make it out somewhere top 10. I don't think you get top five simply because you could like literally name five guys who have all like medaled in a row, have crazy
yeah,
accolades, but he might be able to get top 10. And like had he been competing like in a weight class like, it's been a little bit less packed, like let's say like, it's a non-Olympic weight, like 70 kilograms. Like,
Mhm.
you never know, like he could do something there. And of course,
He's not
this
getting
is,
down to 70.
yeah, well, I mean, it's just like I'm using
Yeah.
70 as an example of like a weight class that isn't as
Yeah.
stacked,
He's just,
where
what's he
we
called?
can,
He's going 97 because of David Taylor at 86.
yeah, and also
And that's
because
kind
it's
of like
Olympic
what doesn't
weights.
make sense to me. Like, I don't think Imar thinks he can go 86 because the only people that are at 86 are what's his name, Pat
Well, you
Downey,
got
David Taylor, and Nate
Well,
Jack.
there's more. There's more. I mean, some of them, like you have guys like Saheed. Is he going to be able to? Is he eligible
I
still?
don't think so. That's the
He
thing.
probably won't be. Don't forget about Alex Dieringer.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ringer too.
he's a great candidate, and
Are you sure he's going up
we
though?
talk. Yeah, I'm most positive he's going 86. He was always a little big for a
Yeah,
74, 79 guy. These are stories I think are a little more legit. We were talking about really strong heavyweights before. He's not heavyweight, but I've heard that Ringer, that he is one of the strongest guys out there at
yeah,
that weight. And like you saw, even like when he wrestled Dake, Dake was avoiding the ties,
yeah.
whereas he was avoiding a little bit of hand fighting because Derringer is crazy strong. So yeah, he could be interesting to watch him go 86. Would he beat DT? Probably not, but it would be exciting to watch.
No,
Like that also
that's
brings,
a pretty close match. Because if you look
yeah,
at
I
it,
think
like,
DT comes out because at the end of the day, DT is a world champion. He
yeah,
beat Hassan Yassadani. He's had like a lot of experience in this.
yeah,
That Derringer's really good, but I don't think he's proven himself in the same way. That's why I usually go with the guy with like the experience.
yeah.
And that also brings a question. Like I don't know, what you tell me your thoughts. Zahid wasn't like eliminated from this whole picture. Do you think he could have a shot at beating DT? Because he's probably the second to best. He's probably
So what
second best in
I'm
the
gonna
country
say, like the
that
exact
way.
opposite of what you said. I have Alex Derringer getting the spot at 86 over
Really, like
David
over DT
over David Taylor.
because of the injury.
Not because of the injury. Like I just think that this is like the way he's been wrestling. Like he's been wrestling good. I
Yeah,
remember like
yeah,
what
it's been
was it
very
the
good.
last time him and Zahid, like when the time where Zahid beat Alex Derringer. Alex Derringer was wrestling with a broken hand.
Yeah, I hear that, but
I
then again,
think
you have to consider
I
that
just think
Zahid also. I mean, until he has also been wrestling really well. Didn't
yeah.
he won senior nationals?
Hmm.
Um, and
But who
he's
was
been
in that
looking
senior
better
national
and
bracket?
better. And
It was
Myanmar
Aaron
was in there.
Brooks.
Nate Jackson was in there. Yeah, Brooks.
But him versus Brooks was the final, and as well, like
He
as good as
wrestled
Brooks is,
Myanmar in
he's
the
still a
final. No,
freshman. Yeah, Miles Martin was his
Miles Martin
lost to I think that was a weight class up, right? Or weight class down.
No, he was wrestling with their way. I think it's Zahid and Miles Martin wrestled together. I mean, it makes sense. He is like
No, it
an.
wasn't Zahid and
I
Miles
think
Martin.
it's
It was Pat Downey beat Miles Martin and got
oh, really.
smacked by Zahid.
I mean,
Yeah,
but that was all 86 though, right? Because
I
I mean,
want
Pat
to say
Downey's
that was
also.
79.
I think it makes sense because the Pat Downey is an 86 guy, and also keep
Yeah,
in mind, Miles Martin was in like a 184 when he graduated college. So
yeah,
for him to cut down to 79 kilos would be like a tough cut for him.
not really. I think he's going 79 because he was
Oh,
never
really?
like one of those big stocky guys. Like
That's true. That's true.
I think the guys like there's like a lot of sleeper picks that could come out of nowhere because like you never know what Aaron Brooks could do at that weight.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
think I never really got a chance to much. I've only seen like one or two of his freestyle matches. What do you think of Jason Ossops in freestyle? Obviously, he has by far the most like loaded bracket out there, and he probably won't make it too far.
he's easily
Um,
fourth
so
at
what do
that
you think
weight.
would happen if he wrestles somebody like Imar?
He
Right, I
gets
think
teched again.
they did wrestle with Bill Farrell, but Nolf was injured, and it was obvious. I think he got
He
that.
gets teched again.
You think so, even without the injury?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys you always view as like you could see it. They're a little better in folk style than freestyle.
Yeah,
I heard they just another guy
because
you see it like big time.
Nolf was
Suriano,
extremely
right?
hyped, right? Looking at the weight class he wrestled in, it's like Deacon, like he manhandled Ryan Deacon like 18-7. But if you look at that match like more in depth, Ryan Deacon rode him out the whole third period. Nolf
Yeah,
was just superior on his feet. Deacon wasn't.
Deacon's also been wrestling really well lately.
Yeah, but Deacon didn't have the breakout season until he beat James Green at whatever tournament. I mean, and then he had to redeem it at. It was to get the automatic bid to Final X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something like
and then
that.
what happened? Then he got tech in 18 seconds. If you get caught in James Green's leg lace, you're not getting out. And then the next match was a 3-4 match, so it's not like, except for that one match, it was pretty competitive in general. But the
Yeah,
way
and also
North
like you also
wrestled
keep in
is
mind that
still,
Nuff like that he came like Hayden how they came like this close. Like some people would say that that was a
yeah.
takedown
The
in the
main reason I
semis.
say that
So
is,
like he was dominant on paper,
mhm,
but at the same time, like if you look at his matches, like it's still interesting because even if you look at him against eliminate, obviously you can't really eliminate his very best competition because that's the best examples you could use
yeah,
when you look at a guy who's dominant. But if you take out like those few examples like Deacon, Hardley, maybe Tyler Berger, do you want to call that good or bad, whatever it is, like
Tyler
he
Berger's
did
not
crazy
competition.
thing. He did crazy, like he just did crazy things on that. He wasn't quite like his teammate Bo. Like he wasn't that like dangerous, but he was like you couldn't use. He was also like in a way a lot of guys were scared to wrestle him, and
Yeah,
you did anything, literally anything, and you were on your back.
yeah,
Like he did have crazy technique, like like you just and you still it's very rare that you see guys do that on the college level division, regardless of their bracket. Like you still have to keep in mind these are Division One wrestlers. These are not like a
yeah,
couple of fish, who you can just hit a headlock on and just pin them. Like these are tough guys,
yeah,
and he still made it look easy out there on like 99% of them.
yeah. So another thing that I'm gonna say is, I have Ryan Deacon being Jason Wolf.
Wow, that's a tough one. Do you think you're talking about freestyle, right? Like just like
Yeah,
the. Do you think if they wrestled folk style, you think Deacon could still pull off the upset? I mean, obviously that's not really relevant, but
no, for the okay. So this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say in retrospect, Nolf does not pick bottom this time. He picks neutral.
right. And we
He's
have to
got
keep in
Rick out the
mind,
entire period.
yeah, and also you have to keep in mind, and maybe you could talk about this in freestyle too, that Deacon is obviously looks like he's like I think he's a pretty buff guy for
Yeah,
like a 157. He looks pretty strong.
yeah.
But Knopf is incredibly quick on his feet,
Mhm.
and you
So
can't count
is
him out on his
yeah.
leg attacks.
But the thing you
Like
have to
he's
realize is,
especially quick.
if Deacon gets on top of Nolf, I have no doubt that he's
Yeah,
getting a turn. Folk
so
style
it's a
or
big
freestyle.
call. It's a
Because
big call.
did you see
I mean,
Deacon versus?
Knopf's Granby's, Knopf's roll throughs are really good. Like,
No, the
he
thing
hits
about
them on
Ryan
anybody.
Deacon, if you've ever seen him wrestle, he breaks down guys flat and he keeps them there. Like, to be able to grab me, you have to be able to get up into your quad pod and go.
It's true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
and he's not hitting Granby's on like the best guys. He's hitting them on like just random dudes after he
no, I
picks
mean
up.
he hit it on Imar. I mean, you ever seen that 2016 Big Ten championship
Yeah,
between
but
Imar
that's
and
also a guy who doesn't like to ride on top as much. Imar's a guy who's dominant with his underhooks.
yeah. What's
It
funny about
causes a lot
Imar
of
is you'd think
problems.
he'd be a top guy because he just went out there and won his first national titles just with
Yeah.
his brute strength. Like the guy's so strong,
Mhm.
and that's just what he's just two titles. Like you'd think he'd be like a top,
I just
top
think
guy,
his
but he just
bump
likes
to
upper body.
165 just didn't do him any favors.
Yeah,
And
he's
Brandon
probably
had like
better.
the run of his life too then, but
Yeah. And then
second
of
time
course
he
is the fact that like, if Chenzo's able to beat Imar and Makai Lewis is able to beat Chenzo, like how good is Makai Lewis? And isn't he also like going
no.
74? Like
Because the
we
thing
don't know. It's a big we don't know because like he had a run and guys have runs,
yeah.
right? Yanni went on a hot streak for a while, but he
Mhm.
also suffered some losses, you know?
Yanni too. To Zayn?
Well, no, what I mean is like until he lost to Zayn at
Yeah,
the
but you
World
also
Team
have to
Trials,
consider
Yanni
Zayn.
was on
Yeah,
Yanni
Zayn
was on
was
a
by
hot streak.
far. He's good. All right, Zayn was by far like 10 times better of a college wrestler than Yanni was.
Oh yeah, he's for sure better in folk style. And
Zayn
Zane
teched his
Rutherford
way into their senior
was one of the
season.
best like leg ride. I mean, like we all people talk about like guys like Ethan Lizak because he got crazy turns. But
Yeah,
if you want to talk about a guy who can ride you out in
he's not a
overtime,
leg rider though.
regardless
He
of
just runs bow and arrows.
oh, he's a leg rider too. I mean, go back there, watch his own college matches. He doesn't get a whole lot of turns, but when that famous match where he beat Logan Stieber
Yeah,
I think as a freshman, he beat him. I think partly because he was able to ride him out. He was very tough with his legs.
so you've
He
been going
wasn't
through
quite as
like
good at
archives
turning.
too.
He wasn't as good, I think, as turning as a guy maybe like Ethan Lizak, but he
Yeah,
was tough. Like he didn't lose the leg. He kept you he was a hammer with
Yeah,
that leg on top. And you couldn't get out from underneath him. You saw him ride out guys all the time. Like,
yeah.
just go back out there, watch a couple of Zane's matches. Like, I don't know how much he was wrestling, but like, did he start when you got into wrestling? Was he still in college?
You graduated in 2018, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, you said you started wrestling sophomore year.
Yeah, I mean,
Did
I
you
just
see
seen like
all
a
these
lot.
matches already?
I mean, like like I told you, like from like day one, like I wanted to make it like a passion. I started finding out like stuff like
Yeah.
right away. Like I
Because like
started
my
watching
freshman
wrestling.
year, yeah, like halfway through my freshman year, like I like when I started, I was like, oh, whatever. I knew who anybody was, and then I'm like, I just started watching and watching stuff. Like ever since I started this page, I can name like 90% of heavyweight matches that ever gone down.
Yeah, I mean, you like watching like specific like heavyweight, right? Because that's like your weight.
No,
That's like
I
it's
know
like
like
deep
all
wrestling.
wrestling too. It's not like you can't just like only
Yeah,
know heavyweight.
yeah, I know, but you know more heavyweight
Yeah.
usually than like other
Did you
weights,
ever
right?
see Jaden Cox versus Colin Moore?
Might have. I don't really like remember the
Colin Moore
match.
almost won that match.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's really crazy. Because
that's why I'm
if there's
saying
one guy who really doesn't like, there are guys who win at the top. There are guys who have close calls. There's one guy who doesn't have a close call who will shut you out. Will not even give you a chance. You won't get anywhere close. It's Jaden Cox. Like to think that he.
no, like what, like in college, dude, Jaden Cox was like not that. Like guys that scored on him, like it looked fairly easy for them to score, but not a lot of guys can do it. Like if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Because it
mean
was always like,
Kyle Snyder beat him as a freshman.
no, honestly, like I know he beat him, but that match was like Cox basically threw away that match in my opinion. He stood at him like this. His knee was like this close to his head, and he was just chilling there
I
standing.
mean, it was still
Yeah,
like a close. What was it, like a 4-3 match, three
yeah, and
two.
it was Snyder just hit an ankle pick right off it. Like there's no defending that. The fact that Snyder just didn't cradle him up and pin him was like crazy.
Yeah, Snyder's also like a real good folk style wrestler too. I mean, the guy went out there and beat guys like Nick Wazowski,
Yeah, I
Adam
think
Coon.
Snyder's
He's
more of
like,
like a he's more of a folk style wrestler than a freestyle wrestler.
yeah, and he's got a gas tank. Like the guy can wrestle overtime.
Yeah, 100%. And that's mainly because like he's still like the youngest Olympic champ. Like he's a freak.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like if you just looked at a picture of Kyle Snyder and you heard about like the fact that he had a couple losses within the last like year or so, like
Yeah,
internationally, you'd say, oh yeah, he's just getting old. And like you look up his age and he's 23 years old.
yeah,
It's crazy stuff. And to think that like him and Sajalaev, they started this rivalry, and Sajalaev is like, I think the same age, and he's already got like what, like 4 or 5 world
you
titles
know
under his
what? Like
belt.
I don't want to be that guy to go against like Team USA, but Snyder never beat Sajalaev ever again
Yeah, I think it's also like I think
because
all those Russians who go that there in the comments, they'll be like Sajalaev was bumping up 25 pounds. They're not
yeah, he
wrong.
was
Like to
too.
make that kind of the fact that he even made it to the finals. I mean,
Yeah.
he's also
And
outdoorsy.
that was
So
only a
five.
1 point win there.
Yeah, and like
And the guy
Sajalaev, I
who
take
what's
that
his
he was
name?
gassed. He was gassed.
The guy who pinned Snyder right at
You're
that
talking about
tournament to make it to the finals.
Mohammedian? Mohammedian?
Yeah, I don't know who exactly that is, but like
Yeah,
Sajulaev's like the best wrestler in the world, hands down. It's not even close.
yeah,
Like with anybody. And then Sajulaev almost pinned that dude.
yeah,
It's like Sajulaev could very well be bumping up to heavyweight soon.
yeah.
He,
And he also talked like on and off like about how he had like I think it was just almost like a rumor that he had plans to go to MMA.
yeah,
I mean, like, which is like disappointing but exciting at the same
yeah,
time. You always love to see like a wrestler with a big name, making it out there in the
yeah.
UFC. So like, it gets more recognition. It grows
Mhm.
the sport of wrestling. But at the same time, it's kind of disappointing, especially when Sajalaev has an opportunity to go out there and literally like, it's not an exaggeration, become the best freestyle wrestler of all
Yeah.
time in terms of like accomplishments. And like, if he went like cut his career short
Yeah. I
in
doubt that's ever
international
gonna
wrestling.
happen though.
I hope it doesn't. I wouldn't mind if like, at the age of like 32, 33 when Sajid Live, like, if he starts slowing down
Yeah.
anyways, if
Like
he went to MMA,
Sajulaev's
I don't
already an
care.
Olympic champ. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, and he's likely to be a 2, probably 3-time,
yeah.
you know.
I think unless Cox can take him out, I think
Yeah,
there's
that
no shot that Snyder does. I just think that Cox with his athleticism, he's not gonna get hit with any of the funk that Sajulaev has. I think he has the
right.
ability
And his
to knock you
movement
down.
and
Yeah.
Jaden Cox's movement is second to
Yeah.
none. Like the guy, like
And then
you could joke about the fact that it's because he gets sweaty and he could
yeah,
just move on his knees like that, but he's
yeah,
crazy, this
he's
man.
more athletic than guys like Roman Bravo Young too. It's like, but he just doesn't get enough credit for it because he doesn't hit like any of that flashy like stuff that he
Yeah,
does.
he's a pretty humble guy.
Yeah,
Like he doesn't brag a whole
yeah,
lot. And he's talented too. You
yeah.
know.
What's his name? The only reason I think Sajulaev will not. You know who Taha Ghul is, the heavyweight.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
heavyweight. He got upset recently, but overall he's been like the best heavyweight of like the last
Who
couple
do
of
you get
years.
upset by?
Somebody from I'm not sure what the abbreviation, which country is GEO?
Georgia.
Georgia, but whatever it is, yeah, some guy from there I think beat
Oh,
him.
you know what happened? He was. I think he like tore his shoulder or something.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because he teched Nick Gwiazdowski.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it
Did
wasn't even.
Gustowski have medaled at Worlds this year, or did he have like a bad performance?
I think he took silver again. And then you have to
He
realize that we have Amar Desi doesn't wrestle for the U.S. He wrestles for Canada.
yeah, honestly I don't know who that is.
Oh, he
Um,
was the heavyweight for Oregon State. So he wrestled in Canada as a kid. He got an offer to come to Oregon State. He came here. He almost beat Adam Kuhn to make the national finals. Kuhn got a last second takedown to beat him.
this is in freestyle.
This is in like he's in freestyle. He's on the freestyle circuit now. He's
Yeah,
going to be an Olympian.
Kuhn's like completely committed to Greco now, though, right?
I think he's still going to be competing in freestyle because I just think he kind of wants revenge over Gable. Because
Yeah, I
honestly,
think that was like a very embarrassing like moment for him when he got attacked.
yeah, no, like honestly, Kuhn didn't have a good tournament in general.
Yeah,
Because
it's
like he
true.
also lost to Tony Nelson, who he beat pretty handily the
Yeah.
first time they wrestled.
At the end of the day, like he's always got a lot of potential. Like I'm sure you know this. Like,
Yeah,
you probably think about this a lot. Like heavyweights who are that big and whether they're athletic or strong, whatever it is, and they got that kind of size, and they could even like sometimes make like a weight
yeah.
cut just to get there, just to get that
The
285
main thing is
or
with
125 kilograms. Like those
yeah.
guys can have a big advantage
The
sometimes.
main thing with Adam Kuhn is I don't like want to make excuses, but I think that he cuts from about 300 and making a cut to 285,
Oh wow, he's
making a
300. I thought he was like all this time. I thought he was like 290, maybe 295.
no,
I
he's
didn't
like
realize just
he's above 3 bills.
damn. That's
Yeah.
massive.
The difference between cutting from like 300 to 285 and 300 to 275 for freestyle is like a big difference. You know what I'm saying? And especially
Yeah,
with
100%.
yeah, Colton Schultz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he beat Robbie Smith, right?
yeah, so Robbie Smith's getting old. I think he's retiring. Honestly, I
Yeah,
think he maybe takes one more shot going to the trials. But like, I think Colton Schultz could very well take out Adam Kuhn.
yeah,
It didn't look
that
like
could
that,
happen.
but if you ever saw Colton Schultz wrestle in high school, he used to be
He's
20
I mean
also.
he's also a Division 1 college wrestler now, right? Colin Schultz.
Yeah, he's at Arizona State. He was at
Yeah,
Red.
I mean he's still like Greco is still his thing more with like
Yeah.
freestyle or folk style,
I
right?
think he took a red shirt last year, and he might take an Olympic red shirt on top of that this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like even if he
And
doesn't
like
get the spot, he gets to practice with Adam Kuhn.
yeah, and I think like that was also like one of the reasons why I'm crew and I started going more Greco because it was the 130
Yeah,
kilogram instead of 125.
it's like Kuhn, like all these guys, like they were never like always that big. Like again, Snyder was like a 195. No, Snyder was a 220 high school. Guys like what's his name? Adam Kuhn was a 220. Colton Schultz was a 220. Gable started off his career in high school as like a 182 or 195.
Yeah, who like what heavyweights were like always like were there any like
I mean, do you know
notable?
Tony Cassiope?
Yeah,
I think him.
wait, he was a heavyweight
Yeah.
since he was a freshman.
I don't know about freshman, but he was a heavyweight in high school. Do you know who Do you know who Nash Helpmatcher is?
Maybe
He's in high school, but he's like the number one heavyweight in the nation. Dude's
I might have
six.
heard from him.
Yeah, he's not even wrestling in college.
What
He's
is he
dropping
doing?
wrestling, play football because he doesn't want to make the. So this kid is 6'5", 285, right? And I'm pretty sure he was like a 12-13% body fat.
Oh, so
I
yeah,
saw a video of him doing like the when you sit on the box and then you stand, then you box jump, like those things.
yeah,
It said him doing box jumps at 310 pounds. It was a 34-inch box, and he was carrying 100-pound dumbbells, and he was jumping down like it was nothing.
Yeah, that's some like I don't even know
Yeah,
DK Metcalf Saquon shit right
yeah.
there. Like,
It's crazy if you see him. It's I think it's just search Nash Hump Macho on Instagram. He should show up.
yeah.
Like he looks like a freak. Like honestly, he was
Yeah,
just casually
and
sitting.
honestly, like if you have like that crazy of this, unless like you really have like a love and a passion for wrestling, like there's a good chance you have like you'll have more potential like
Yeah,
in football.
I think he wants to wrestle in
And
college.
like it gives you a better career too. Like a lot of some guys in wrestling like actually struggle like financially.
Yeah, of course. But as like a number one guy coming out of high school, like you get, especially with the NCAA changing like the whole,
Oh
you guys
yeah, that's
make money
huge
off the
now.
name. Like Gable's gonna have so much money rolling in. Guys who were like,
Oh man, DeSanto. It's funny
no,
when you
I don't
think of
think
that.
DeSanto doesn't get involved in all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but you don't think he would do it if like, I mean, I don't think he's like a clout or money chaser, but like if it could help him out, like I don't know how well
Yeah,
he does financially.
it's
But if it
like
could help him out, he might.
people take it as like, oh, he's just being a dick. Like his emotions just get the best of him. It's like I don't know how to really say about that, but
At the
like,
end of the day, I think DeSanto is just like he's just a guy who loves to wrestle. Yeah, he's
yeah,
wild and he's crazy, but he just sometimes you gotta admire his passion,
yeah.
You don't see that a lot.
It's like I know like why he's doing the stuff. Like when he's screaming in Sirianni's face, you can't. That was a monstrous upset.
Oh, that was crazy when he
Yeah,
took him down that last
yeah.
second
The
there.
same thing with him versus Lezak. Like that's a huge upset. That's
Yeah.
kid who made that's the guy who made the national
I,
finals.
th- I think you could look at Ethan Lizak as a guy who could beat anybody, like really anybody,
He
but can
just didn't
also
have great.
lose to anybody. I think he can also lose to anybody because we
He
all
was
know
cutting from
Lizak.
like 160.
Yeah, we all know like Lizak. Like
Yeah,
when he's, um, except for when he's on top, he's not nearly as high like a caliber of wrestler as all the other guys are. Like when he's in a neutral position or when he's down in his conditioning, like all those things, they're just not on the same level
yeah.
as the
No,
guys he's
you
coming
want to know why his
against. His
conditioning
tough
isn't
game
great?
mix up. Is it really his waist is like the weight cut was from 160?
He was cutting from 160 when he was a 125.
That's whack. How's that even possible?
You know who Thomas Gilman is?
Yeah, man, who doesn't know Thomas Gillens?
Ethan Lezak was a point away from taking him.
Yeah, I saw that match actually, and
Yeah,
I think like you saw, like it was literally nothing more than just conditioning.
yeah.
And a
No,
bit
but
more
the thing is,
conditioning
like,
in him. He was
I've
racking up near full
yeah,
points like nobody's
like
business.
I've been at the point where like I ride so hard on top one period that like you just like can't feel your arms.
Yeah, of
Just like the
course.
next period.
One of the things that my friends like he one of my he loves to do like the Spencer Lee kind of like
Yeah,
so like head lever to
yeah.
armbar or
And Lee
two on
gets
one
gas
two
like
on
the
one
next period a little bit.
two on
Like you
one.
can see him fading.
A little bit. And of course he had that match against the guy from Michigan. But other than that,
Yeah.
Spencer's been like perfect this year. It's been unbelievable.
From which guy from Michigan?
I don't remember. He wrestled somebody from Michigan, and this was his only decision of the year.
The hell goes to Michigan? I
I'm
think it
not
was like
sure.
Chattanooga, right? It was like the first match of the season.
I don't know his name. It was. I'll look into it later. Anyway, so he was telling me like obviously it gets real tiring to constantly
Yeah.
be putting that pressure forward with your wrist, and it comes down to just doing like stuff like like pull up bar hangs and just increasing your forearm strength
Yeah.
so that you can just wrestle for like a whole period like that.
But like if you look at guys like Lezak had a lot better top rider than Spencer Lee. Like it wasn't
I mean,
even
they're
it
different. They're
wasn't even
different. I think the
yeah.
difference is that Spencer was more Um, Spencer was more, I think, probably a little more consistent at least, and like he actually got almost always. If he was going up against somebody who wasn't top 5 ranked, it was a tech or a pin every time. Like time, occasionally a
Yeah,
major.
100%.
Ethan Lizak, like even if he got on top of somebody who wasn't like top ranked, he'd still have decisions, and I'm sure he still lost a couple matches to guys who weren't
You
who
know what
weren't
the
like
main
top
thing is?
caliber
Like
wrestlers.
with Lezak, they know the leg's coming in. Like
Yeah.
it's always he pulls him to the side, he sneaks the left leg in, then he pulls you back, sneaks the right leg in, and
Yeah, and
then
he's real risky with it too. Like, he's not like
no, like when
total
but
control.
you have to consider like he's been doing that his entire career.
Yeah,
When
I'm
you
sure he knows what he's doing. I'm just saying, like,
like when
you
he
see
rolled
him
super
like,
fast, like I would see it as risky, but like he doesn't. Like it's just all field him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
when he's on top, it's just crazy to see
Yeah.
because I don't know how he's gonna translate like on the like again like on the senior level because the main difference is you can't ride people like that on top. Bow and arrows.
Yeah, I don't think Ethan Lizak would make a great freestyler. So if
Yeah,
I was going to be honest, I
and
think
just in
he
general with
was
his
more of a focus
conditioning
guy.
with the 3 minute periods, he might just die out.
Yeah,
You could
that
see
would
him
be tough.
moving up to even like to Yanni's weight. I I'm gonna say like I think if he went 141 his senior year, he makes the national finals against Yanni.
Yeah, I think Yanni would beat him though. Like
100 probably, but I don't know if Lizak could
Yanni
stop.
scrambles so well. I don't think that he would. I don't think
Lizak is
Ethan
an
get.
elite scrambler too.
Yeah, but if we were going to compare them, like who if they get into scramble, regardless of who has the advantage, who's going to get the takedown? I think it's going to be Yanni.
I honestly think it can go either way. Like it's a bold choice, and I think Lizak could definitely give Yanni a run for his money because it's not like
It's an
Yanni's like a
interesting call.
superior athlete or anything.
What I do love seeing is when Ethan Lizak goes up against guys who are actually really good from bottom, right? Yeah, the DeSanto thing where DeSanto was able to escape from him, get a reversal. It was like, so that was a big
No,
Tom
that was
Brands
kind of just
Iowa kind of moment. Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about when they wrestled and like if you know Tom Brands, you know Austin DeSanto, he's not picking neutral. He's picking
Yeah,
bottom. And he picked bottom, he got the reversal, and that
yeah,
was the cool thing. But if you remember last year, Suriano and Lizak met
yeah.
twice. I don't know if you ever noticed this from watching Suriano. I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler who's better from bottom than Suriano. Guy's
Dayton picks.
the guy's crazy. No, I'm talking about Suriano just purely in terms of like the speed, his
Yeah,
ability to like get away, his sit outs. It's just crazy fast. He's
yeah.
so strong and fast. You
But
cannot ride Suriano.
you also have to consider. I know which matches you're talking about. You're talking about him versus Fix in the finals, and you're talking about him versus Lizak. What do those two guys have in common? They're both filthy with legs.
Yeah.
It's not like you
It's
can just casually, like I've seen Siriano wrestle. It's either he just casually quad pads up or just starts fighting wrist control and stands.
yeah, but he sits out real well.
Against a
Um
leg rider, you got to get out quick, or else
yeah, but that's the thing. Suriano's so good off the whistle, you usually can't even get the leg
yeah.
in. And
Because
even off even, even
Suriano versus Lizak went down their freshman year. I think Suriano only won 8-6.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was like
But
Lizak's like
yeah.
best year.
When they wrestled at nationals,
Yeah,
the NCAA championship, 2019. I think Suriano took bottom. I don't think he respected Lizak's leg riding. I think he got out no problem. I think he even ended up actually pinning
yeah,
Lizak, even though Suriano's not the best top wrestler, but
yeah.
against Ethan Lizak
I
wasn't
think he
difficult.
just honestly
Yeah,
beat
but
him
what's
up
was
mentally.
really funny, at the end, my friend pointed this out to me. I've never actually done like real hard like research like to prove this, but I'm pretty sure if you watch like there isn't a whole lot of footage, but I think there's a Road to the Big Ten, video of
Mhm.
all Serrano's matches in 2018. At the very end, Lizak gets like one he turns Serrano very briefly for 2 point
Yeah,
near fall. And my friend told me, he's like, if I'm not mistaken, that was the only time Serrano ever got turned in college. Like, can you ever think of a time Serrano got turned? Like, he's just so good from bottom. Like, even against the guys like Fix, like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, he's always going to escape.
yeah.
And
I don't think Spencer Lee turned him, and that's for
yeah,
the sheer fact that like Spencer Lee, you know what he's going for,
yeah,
and they've wrestled so many times before.
yeah. What's actually funny is that Soriano was one to pick bottom against Fix or Lizak, but
Yeah,
he wouldn't pick bottom against Spencer when they wrestled in 2018 for the
yeah,
national
because
title.
Spencer wrote him out, and that's like a national final match. But you're
Yeah, and
also saying
also
he's up against Fix in like the ultimate tiebreaker, and it's either you score
yeah, and they both
or
don't
you
take a
lose.
whole lot of shots in regulation.
Yeah.
So
It's like
he
again, like
wanted.
these guys have wrestled each other so much. Like Suriano versus Fix has went down, I think like maybe up to 10 times before.
Yeah, it's like I was gonna make a meme out of it, like Soriano and Fix, and someone tells him like, yeah, win the match, coach, and win the match in regulation.
Yeah,
Soriano and Fix. Nah, I don't think I will. Like
I
that's
mean,
just
yeah,
they
I
love to
mean, yeah,
wrestle. They just love to like keep wrestling. Like, and they
yeah.
both got crazy like gas tank.
Mhm.
And like it
I
was funny
just
because I
think
was watching like the
yeah.
marathon match. Like,
Suriano's just on like another level mentally.
yeah,
And another thing, like I just think that the seating was complete whack that year.
133 in 2019.
Yeah. There's no way Dayton Fix should have the 1 seed. It should have been Stevan Miches coming into it.
Well, here's the
I know
thing. I
Miches
think
forfeit,
medical
right?
forfeits. I think they count. I think they have to count medical forfeits.
Yeah, but I also don't think that Dayton Fix should have had a 1 seed when he already had a loss to Mickey Philippi. Like, I'm just going to say the way I would have seen it is had Miches at first, Suriano
Fix second.
second.
Well, I mean, Suriano had multiple losses on the year, so you can't put him at second. Fix only had one, so you have to. I think you have to put Fix, and Fix has head-to-head matches over Suriano, so I think you have to put Fix. Remember, seniors are all for a technical standpoint, right? Yeah. So you got to put Fix. I think you got to put Fix second,
and then
Suriano third, DeSanto fourth. Was that it?
No, it wouldn't.
No, it was Pletcher. It would have been Pletcher.
No,
then
it would have been Philippi fourth.
No, I think Pletcher. Pletcher was a Big Ten finalist and only had like 1 or 2 losses on the year.
Yeah, but Philippi was in the ACC for Pitt. And he had to win over Dayton Fix.
Like I said, the Flow guys are saying it themselves. Like they had no idea what to do.
Because I know Pletcher won the match, but Philippi was the 4 seed and Pletcher was the 5 seed. And then DeSanto 6 and Lezak 6 and DeSanto 7.
Yeah.
Because I think that Miches would have beaten Fix to make the finals.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't seen Stevan Miches wrestle.
Because Stevan Miches, the first time him and Luke Pletcher wrestled, he beat him 14-0.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
And it's funny, like, what do you think would have happened? Like, the best part about it is, like, that weight class was so stacked without the returning champion. And it wasn't like he wasn't like redshirting, like, you know, just because he wanted to like take a year off. Like he was injured. But if Seth Gross was in there, I mean, Seth Gross when he came back, like, what do you think? I didn't watch him in 2018, but from what I understand,
I think Miches could have won that match if DeSanto didn't like the whole cargo thing.
Did he actually injure him? I thought it was just he tried to and couldn't really get.
I don't know. I mean, there's no way that's comfortable, you know. It was definitely
and now that I think about it, I remember when I watched that match once. I mean, like Gross majored Miches, like, you know, he beat him pretty badly, like in the 2018 national title. But I do remember, like, if I recall, watching that match injury time because his hand was like there's something wrong with his hand or his wrist.
Yeah,
and maybe that did come from DeSanto. It's funny because that's what made DeSanto famous. I mean, also
it's like, do you want to like admit to the injury? Because like if you do that, maybe they say, oh, you can't wrestle or something like that.
Yeah.
Bring this to national final, they'll probably just let you get away with it if it's not too serious.
Yeah.
No. We just hit an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's 1:11.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably just play this out, see how far it goes. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, do you usually like post the whole podcast or just like the part, like, you know,
the
beginning?
Post the whole thing. I don't even bother editing.
Yeah, would you ever be concerned, like, you know, in general, I mean, you're a meme page, so I don't know how much concern you have, but, like, the fact that, like, if you had, like, certain opinions on wrestlers, like, and you say this and that, like, about them, like, whether it's good things or bad things, like, you're not concerned at all with that kind of stuff getting out?
Because I've never had a single heavyweight block me. Like, it's all for fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, only Spencer Lee.
Spencer Lee and Pat Glory.
Really?
Yeah, that's why.
Do you know what what's the Pat Glory one for?
So, okay. Pat Glory was ranked number 1 in the nation his senior year, right? His freshman year, he lost to Gerard Angelo, who wrestles for Rutgers. In the state finals, Angelo was the absolute stud that year. His sophomore year, he blew a lead in the third period and ended up getting pinned by Sebastian Rivera at 6 minutes, right? And the thing, his junior year, he ended up beating Jojo Aragona, who also wrestled.
So you're talking about Pat Glory now? Like, all this is like.
Yeah, I'm still talking about Pat Glory.
Yeah.
He ended up being Jojo Aragona. That ended up taking the number 1 ranking over Gavin Teasdale. His senior year, he gets to the state quarterfinals as the 1 seed. The kid who he's wrestling is a 25 seed. You can Google this match. It's like Pat Glory avoids his disaster and wins by fall or something like that. He gets, like, the other guy gets a leg. Pat Glory hops over his back, tries to pull something fancy or something like that. The guy gets sort of like has the funky leg in and tries to go for like a Merkel and then locks up a cradle and almost pins Pat Glory, right? And then Glory just starts bridging out of it. He gets off his back. Nobody's holding down Glory on bottom, I don't think, except maybe – no, not even Lee. I don't think Lee's turned him anymore. Glory's like –
well, I mean, Lee Tective 18 – was it like 18 – 2, like something like that the first time they wrestled. Really?
Yeah,
You sure? I don't think they've wrestled in a while.
he was at Midlands last year.
That's interesting because Lee also did tag him like their first college match together. Lee
It's a
tagged him.
lot closer than you think. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot closer than you think.
Maybe he just
And
like
then
watch film.
and then he pins the kid in a Turk, right? He gets up and yells, "No one's pinned me, not today," right? And
It's
then
in the
I put,
quarters, quarters or semis.
it was the quarters, 1 seed versus 25.
Yeah.
So I took that, "No one's pinning me, not today," and then I like added the part behind it, which was him getting pinned by Nick Piccinini in the fifth, sixth match at Nationals his freshman year. I
Oof.
tagged him in there, probably shouldn't have done it. Like, and then I just see him blocked.
Yeah.
The Spencer Lee one, I really don't know why he blocked me.
Yeah. I was like super confused.
Yeah,
Did the
it's
meme have
just
to?
like, what's he
What
gonna
was
do?
the meme again? I remember it
It
vaguely.
wasn't
It's like
even a meme. Like, I never tagged him in it. Somebody else tagged him, and like I woke up, I just see Spencer Lee. He's like, "Hi, I'm just box account." It was
yeah,
like
it's funny.
most emotional things in wrestling part one. Spencer Lee loses his final high school match to Austin DeSanto.
Yeah.
I made
I
a
mean,
meme about him blocking me after he did it though.
yeah. I remember I saw that and I was like asking you about it. It's funny because like Spencer like is one of the guys like I admired the fact like he's like you know he's not just like a beast and he wins like pretty much everything, one of the best lightweights in the country, but he's also like he's so humble.
Yeah, so is
Um,
Pat Glory. Like,
Yeah, like do you like but you would never hear Spencer Lee just yelling like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but yelling, I ain't getting pinned, nobody's pinning me. Like you would never hear Spencer
yeah, but
saying
you
that.
also have to know, as like a 1 seed at your state tournament, people want to see you. People are thrilled to see, like, say if Gable Steveson gets thrown on his back in the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
would that not hype up the entire stadium?
Yeah,
Like,
I
even
hear
if
what
he
you're
didn't win,
saying.
like, yeah,
You're saying. I'm like you guys you gotta
yeah.
talk, we gotta talk.
It's like you got the
It's just
adrenaline
like
running through your
but
veins.
you gotta like love the fact like Spencer like could win 2 national titles and be like, go Hawks, Brands and Cole got done this weekend. Like
But that's like
is
the
that
interview. That's not what they're feeling. You don't see what's going on inside the locker room.
it's true, and I don't know him personally. I can't really know
Yeah.
for sure.
But like
But
Pat Glory's ride throughout high school has been just like hella ups and downs. It's just
yeah.
like I have nothing against him. Like I kind of feel bad that he blocked me. Especially, I just think it's kind of a bitchy thing to do. Like I never tagged you in the meme or anything.
Yeah.
Like somebody else tagged you. Like Glory, I did it to piss him off, which like, oops.
Yeah, it's kinda on your
Yeah,
end.
that's on me, 100%.
And
Like
like
I
of
have
course
nothing
this
to do
whole
with that.
thing for a while you're posting like the Gable Kasar memes and like
Yeah,
it's bound to trigger
it's like
somebody.
Gable was chill about it. Like he lost. It's all right. It's all respect.
Yeah, I mean it seemed like after that match, like, obviously guys are required to like shake hands, but like, he went in like he
Yeah,
shook his hand, like he gave him like a little bump, like he was telling so obviously like, it's
he
also
won. Yeah,
the
but you
thing that
also have to
they're
consider.
gonna wrestle again, in a week at
Yeah,
nationals. But like, you could tell he respected it. He
yeah,
respected Kasar.
but you also have to consider that Gable is extremely cocky. Like not
Oh
in
yeah,
like
he's a good guy.
not in like he's like an asshole, but he does like the small things to get like under guys' skin, just like piss him off a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, he like intimidates them.
Yeah,
And
and like you don't want
it's
to be the guy that does stuff to like piss people off, and then you
right.
can't be like a crybaby.
Especially for like your opponent's like fans.
Yeah,
Like I remember I went to Big Tens and like we were talking. I was talking to some Iowa fans who were in front of me, and they were like, I hate Gable. That guy's terrible. I really hope Mason Parrish beats him. Like they like the Iowa fans hate him. Like after talking about that thing with Cassiope, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take him down, and like he
yeah.
did. Yeah, he lived up to his talk, but like
He was
the
talking to
Iowa
his
fans
coach.
hate
It's
it.
not like
Yeah, but the Iowa fans who did not like that. Like
yeah.
they
I
just did.
I hate Iowa, dude. It's not like I have nothing wrong with their team. Like I just don't like the coaching style they have. Like just
Brands.
their atmosphere.
I think it really depends on like the
Yeah,
person. Like, well, Vince, you like obviously like guys like that, like that. Like they do bring out the ultimate like American wrestlers in terms
yeah,
of like they bring out like the toughest, most like hard nosed,
yeah.
conditioned guys.
They're just
Like
like cowboy
Brands,
fans. Yeah,
and obviously the Brands brothers got it from Gable himself, and like. Those kind of guys are ultimate count the edge. You also have like on the flip side, you have guys like Kale's Penn State guys who are all
Yeah.
about making wrestling about like having fun and
Yeah.
like just making wrestling like a great sport and having teaching a lot of technique and not just so much just like I'm gonna put you through hell every practice.
Yeah.
And like those guys come out successful. I mean, Penn State's won so many titles. They've had crazy good wrestlers. But,
Mhm.
like it just makes you wonder, like
Yeah.
what's the way to go? And
Because like
I'm sure Kale and the Brands brothers like respect each other.
yeah, of course. Like all coaches, like you can't feud. Nobody feuds with like other coaches, like
You
because
don't think
all of
John
them are
Smith?
like legends, like in the sport. Like
You don't think John Smith has like a little bit of beef with like the Brands brothers, just like a little bit?
I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's that deep. Like honestly,
No,
they're
of course
both
I don't think
like
it's
they're
that.
all Olympians. Like Kale's an Olympic champ. John Smith's I think he was an Olympic champ too. Brand's brothers are both
Yeah, John
Olympians.
Smith I think was a two-time Olympic champ, like four-time world.
Yeah, I know
Like won
Kale
like
won
he
like
won
gold
6 straight
medal.
years.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
who else is like in this picture?
Yeah, the Brands brothers. I mean, they both won them one Olympic title. I forget. I always get confused whether it was Terry or
Yeah,
Tom won.
because
They
like
both
the
won world
schools,
titles
yeah,
themselves.
the schools like I really like watching are Penn State, of course, just because their talent level.
Yeah, and they're crazy
Yeah.
exciting to
Like
watch.
I watch Iowa just because they're good. I don't really like them. Rutgers, of course, from Jersey. Princeton were from Jersey.
Yeah, one of the teams
And
I
then
like just
Cornell.
because I feel like they're like I don't know if I want to say like humble, because like not every team, like every single one of the wrestlers is the same. But I've always liked the Ohio State guys.
Yeah,
They always seem like just decent guys who love to scrap, who work hard. They're just
yeah,
like modest, like decent guys, when
yeah.
you watch them wrestle.
It's like I can't really tell you like what team I like the most, but I can give you my favorite wrestler like each weight class. Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Who would be your take for 133? I know you like Pinchinini, like
My
at 125.
at 133, like guys who were in the field like last year.
This year or last year?
This year, who was in the field, dude?
It was this year.
I'm gonna have to go Sebastian Rivera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He, he's not like a very hateable person, but at
yeah,
the same time, most people you love him or you hate him.
yeah,
I mean, if we're talking about both this year and last year, I'd probably
yeah.
go with
You want
Sir,
to know why it's Sebastian Rivera?
Sir.
Because he wrestled at CBA Academy.
No,
You know what Christian Brothers Academy is?
no, I actually don't.
No, it's one. It's like they have like some of the best sports in the nation, dude. But they don't have like all the sports. So my old high school coach actually took a coaching job there after my sophomore year, and Anthony
Mhm.
Ashnault was at a quad meet we had, and I actually talked to him a little bit afterwards, and he follows my. This was like a week after he ended up following the Heavyweight Nation page, so I
Yeah,
just talked to him for a little bit. He was extremely chill. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really the only reason.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I just like
Cornell's
I don't know who else
recruiting
to say.
class is amazing too.
Really, who are they getting this year?
You know who Brett Unger is, right?
No, I told you I don't really follow like the high school thing so much.
You don't follow states at all.
Like I told you, it's like I don't know how you do it. Maybe there's other sites, I guess, like
Okay, so
Internet or this, but
Brett Unger was he wrestled in New Jersey his sophomore year, but he was already 18 as a sophomore.
oh wow,
Yeah. He ended up winning a state title at 106 as a sophomore. He transferred to Notre Dame in Pennsylvania as a junior because he wasn't able to wrestle his junior year. He was 19 as a junior. I'm pretty sure he won a PA state title. I don't know. I'm just assuming he did. I don't think he's allowed to do his senior year of high school, so he just committed to Cornell for next year.
yeah, it's weird.
It's
Well, so
insane
what
like how many guys Cornell have going in. They have
isn't what's his name? Greg Diakonos also going?
yeah.
Is it this year or is he already in Cornell?
I think he's going to so basically in Ivy League schools you can't redshirt.
Really?
So they just basically go to like a community college, which is like the Finger Lakes Wrestling Club for Cornell. Because you have to
Yeah,
think about all the guys that Cornell's can very well win a national title, right, in next few years. Because they have Brett Unger who just committed and Greg Diakomahalis that's there. They
Yanni's
have
still gonna be with him for another 2 years.
hmm?
Yanni's still gonna be with him
Yeah,
for
I'm
another two
getting
years.
we got Vito Aruja,
Oh yeah, it's
25.
good.
I think Vito. I'm pretty sure Vito's gonna move up. It
Yeah,
looked
he's
like
a
he was
very
cutting a
skinny
little bit.
guy.
Yeah. And then you have Yanni there. Um, Julian Ramirez from Blair Academy. You know what Blair Academy is?
Yeah, aren't they like one of the best schools in the
Yeah,
country?
he was the 170 number one.
Yeah, another guy from Blair. Like I started following him recently. I don't remember where he committed. Where did isn't he the best wrestling team, Shane Van Ness?
Shane Van Ness from Blair. I think it might have been Oklahoma State or something like that.
Yeah, well he's real good.
Yeah,
He had a good like he wrestled who's number one.
yeah. But
We
Cornell's
see he's
wrestling class, like people like hyping up Rutgers recruiting class. I think
people
Cornell's
hyping
is
up
a lot better.
are people hyping up Okie State?
Yeah, just because of like I don't know. I think Cornell has like the best wrestling class
Well, if
right
they
now.
get well, it doesn't Oklahoma State have both AJ Ferrari and Shane Van Ness? If you said he is committed,
I'm not really sure where Shane Van Ness is committed.
yeah, I could check right now. I think I follow him on the gram. I think he announced it.
I can actually.
Um,
It says Rutgers.
really, Rutgers?
Oh wait, no, he's a junior, dude.
Oh, he's a junior. I thought he was a senior.
Yeah, he has cut down his options to Princeton, Michigan, Cornell, Penn State, and Rutgers.
Yeah, if he went to Penn State, that would just be whack.
No, he's probably gonna go to Cornell
Yeah, and of
because
course
you have to
also
think.
what's his name?
Hmm,
Robert Howard went to commit to Penn State.
Yeah,
He's one of the
Howard.
best guys out there
Yeah,
at the
and Penn
lightweight.
State's obviously lacking at 125 too.
Yeah, they haven't. When's the last time they had a good 125? It was a
Nick
couple years
Sirianno.
ago. I mean, yeah, I mean one who stayed like who was like was there
The
first.
year right before Nick Sirianno, they had Nico Megaludis, who was a national champ, who
Oh,
actually beat
really?
Thomas Gilman in the national finals.
Yeah.
And
Sirianno,
then
do you think
Thomas Gilman,
Sirianno would have won that title? I mean, he did lose to Thomas Gilman during
nope.
that year.
Because you want to know why? Gilman choked to Darian
Yeah,
Cruz in the semifinals, and then Lezak made it out the other half of the bracket.
right.
So it was pretty interesting, that tournament in general.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Trying
but
to
if
see.
we're going like look at Cornell too, like Chris Foca,
No.
Bergen Catholic is.
Yeah, Burn
Yeah,
Catholic's also like they're on the
the Chris
top.
Foca was a state champ from Bergen Catholic. He was ranked second in the country. I think he was a Fargo champ also.
What
Yeah,
weight? What weight?
182.
182.
Um, what's his name? Jacob Cardenas ranked number one in the country. He got bumped down to number two because he lost to AJ Ferrari in sudden victory.
When was that match?
It was like one of these big tournament finals.
Well, I mean, like Ferrari hasn't like AJ Ferrari hasn't wrestled like competitively for a while now, right? For a
Yeah,
couple
it
months.
was it was when AJ Ferrari was 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then they
mean,
have Luis Fernandez at heavyweight. The crazy thing about him is he was a 220 who bumped up to heavyweight his junior year, and he ended up chin whipping and pinning the kid in the state finals.
huh, love
And
to
then
see.
his
Yeah, yeah.
hmm,
Nah, I mean, I want to say only heavyweight, but you know, that's not really true. Like, it's
yeah.
fine. Like, if there's any weight class where you could do that, where you win a state final, just chin whip, pin,
Dude,
boom,
heavyweight chin
done.
whips do not happen. You can search him. He was ranked fifth in the country. The thing is, I think he can very well win. He's going to be a national champion. He was like he's like 6'3", right? He was 220 as a junior. He's like 270 now, but just as lean and just as
Yeah.
fast.
I mean, if you had to make an early predictions for who's next, like college next year, who is winning national titles, what would you pick?
Like every weight or
Yeah, everywhere. So let's say like 125. You pick Spencer, right?
Pat
Write it
Glory.
down. That's in the really. You
Yep.
take despite everything Spencer's done like in the last 2 years.
I
Uh,
like Pat Glory, dude.
well, I mean, now I'm talking about like who you like. I'm talking about who you honestly would think
I
would
think
win.
Pat Glory can take him out. Most likely it's going to be Spencer Lee, but I'm going to go with the small shot that there's like a good 30% chance that Pat Glory can win that.
All right, 133 when Fix and Soriano come back.
I think Fix is
And
going
does Michich
25.
also? Does Michich also
Fix
come
is
back?
going 25.
Really? Because Pincini's done. Right. But
And
is
I think
Michi is
Sirianno. I don't think Sirianno's coming back.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a whole thing he got into a fight with somebody at Rutgers for bringing in because they brought in NATO to practice and it was this competition.
Yeah, I really don't know, man.
That's what I heard. I don't know why would Soriano not come back? Does he want to wrestle another year in college?
I don't know. I think he really achieved his goal of being a national champion.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I really don't know. At
maybe.
133, if Sebastian Rivera goes 133, it's his weight. If not, I have Roman Bravo Young, Stefan Micic.
They were saying Micic didn't graduate though, right? He's
He's
still
gonna
got a
be a
year of
senior. Yeah.
eligibility. Oh, so yeah, so Micic is very good.
If
I
Rivera
remember,
does go
and
41, like I said,
RBY has made crazy progress like over the
yeah,
last few years. Like he got
yeah, of course
significantly
that
better.
it's pretty
Like,
good. But
so
if
that's a good weight
yeah,
class.
if
And I mean,
Sebastian Rivera goes 133, I think it's his weight. If not, I think Stefan Micic edges out Roman Bravo Young.
yeah. 141. So,
Who's in that weight?
well, I mean, I think Yanni I assume would go back. So,
Yeah,
and
but who's
he's who else is in that
you know
weight?
what? Actually, I can
Let's
pull them
see.
up.
I think Nick Lee is still in that weight. Luke Pletcher is still in that weight, unless they're
No,
both seniors.
Luke Fletcher's gone. Yeah, Luke Fletcher graduated, dude.
Nick Lee,
Nick Lee's a senior.
right? So Nick Lee still got a year
Just
of
give me one
eligibility.
second. I'm pulling them up right now. It does. They don't even have Yanni in the rankings, but we're just gonna say as he's there. I
Right, because
really
we
don't
don't.
think anybody here can really beat him. I think Nick Lee gives him an honest match. Yanni maybe wins by like 2 points because Yanni's not the best folk style wrestler.
Yeah. What about what's his name? Jaden Ironman, guy from Iowa. Is he
Jaden
any good
Ironman going
for
49.
freestyle and folk style?
Jaden
He's not
Ironman's
going
going
for it.
149.
Yeah, because Pat Lugo graduated, right?
Yeah, and Max Murin's at 141.
Yeah, got it.
I think Jaden Ironman hands down. Yeah, because who else is here? Austin O'Connor.
Sasso's a real well this year. He got like very, very close to beating
Ironman hands it to Sasso.
Think so?
Yeah.
I mean, Sasso's also a crazy good scrambler. He's got great defense, and he's good from top.
Ironman, you know Ironman's the only person who's ever beaten Yanni, right?
And from
In
where?
college.
Oh, you're saying in folk style?
Yeah.
It's pretty respectable.
It's
Is
gonna
he
be
better? Is
interesting.
Ironman like especially good in folk style? I haven't watched much of him.
Yeah, 100%. I think a guy a lot of people were sleeping on is Jared Deegan from Iowa State, who almost pinned Pat Lugo. He got called for
Names sound
locking hand.
familiar.
He got called for locking hands in that Iowa State duel and lost the match.
Hmm.
But he didn't have the greatest like postseason, so I don't know.
All right, fine. So moving on, 157. I think
So,
is Deacon still in there,
yeah,
or did he graduate?
it's
So
Deacon's
yeah,
weight.
yeah, it's gonna be Deacon's weight again.
I got Deacon.
I don't think. Do you think Hadley would have a shot at him?
I think Hidley goes fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah, behind Ryan Deacon, David Carr, and Kendall Coleman.
Oh, Carr is good. Carr's
Yeah.
athletic.
I think Kendall Coleman showed a lot against Ryan Deacon. He lost 14-0 the first time, then lost like 7-4 or something like that at Big Tens. The guy has extreme athleticism. The only spot where he really got bullied was on bottom. And Deacon's also one of the best top riders in college at all. Yeah, he's one of the best top riders. So who do you have?
Yeah. So 57. Yeah, probably Deacon as well.
You're
But I
Deacon?
think, yeah, but I think Kylie is also like he's always been like near the top of the competition.
Yeah.
Like to
You
sleep
have
on
to.
him, to count him out.
Yeah. But the
You know,
thing what I'm gonna say is the last time they wrestled it was 6-3. 3 takedowns. So pretty dominant from Deacon.
yeah, that makes a statement. All right. So at 65, who do you still have in that weight class?
So again, I have different picks. I have Micaiah Lewis going first, Shane Griffith from Stanford going
Wait,
second.
Marinelli's is Marinelli graduated?
No, he's still here.
Well, so you don't have him taking anywhere in top three?
No, I have him taking third, and then I actually I'm not gonna make this pick, but I have Alex Marinelli and Evan Wick going third, fourth. I don't know where.
What about wait, so what about like Isaiah White?
Isaiah Wade's gone. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he graduated?
Yeah, I think so. Because he was a D2 transfer.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah,
right.
that's tough to see like a lot of these guys not be able to not
Yeah.
be able to wrestle senior season. Because Isaiah White could have very well beat anybody for the title. He went to sudden victory with Chenzo many times. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
just think the
right.
top four at this weight have solidified themselves. I think with Anthony Valencia down, maybe he takes fifth. That's it.
All right. So 74. I mean, assuming Anthony Valencia stays in
Yeah.
there. Who do we have?
Logan
Well,
Moss is
first of all, Kemmer's done also, right?
Are you? Can you? Oh, wait, you can't see this actually. So no, Michael Kemmer is a senior.
Yeah.
Um.
Wait, he's a senior now, like he has one more eligibility year?
Okay, when I say years, I'm talking about like next year.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I mean, he did really well at
Yeah.
74 this year. Like, I see no reason why he could at least get like,
Yeah.
be a finalist.
Yeah. Kemmer's ranked first. Logan Massa is coming back out of red shirt. I think Logan Massa actually, if you ever saw the video, he beat Alex Marinelli to make the Big Ten finals against Vincenzo Dosa when they were at Michigan State. I'm not sure what year that was, and he flexed right in Tom Brand's face.
Oh, I remember who you're
Hmm.
talking about. That
I
was
think
a crazy
Logan
moment.
Massa is just like he's just the toughest in this weight. I think it's gonna come down to a dogfight between him and Kemmerer, and he takes it.
Good
And
stuff.
I also think that Michigan is gonna have like the same hype that Iowa did, but I think Michigan is like more of like a well put together team that they can actually make it happen.
Yeah. All right, 84.
84. Oh, this okay. So again, some weird picks I had.
I mean, 84. They don't have anybody like, we don't have any like crazy standouts.
Yeah.
I think.
Again, Miles Amin is coming back out of red shirt.
Well, he is very good. It's
He
true.
lost to Mark Hall in the national semifinals in overtime again.
Right. I've always felt that Hall, and like also I heard one of my friends' opinion on that he thought like he was like a bit overrated. The way I see like Mark Hall is that he's a very talented wrestler, right? He's got great technique.
Yeah.
He's pretty athletic, but he sometimes like he'll only show up like in certain moments. Like he'll be like just kind of wrestling pretty defensive,
Hmm.
not particularly aggressive,
Yeah, that's just
and
his
out of
style.
nowhere hit a big move. Right, that's his style, but like he does get caught sometimes, and like guys do really like even though he's got a pretty good defense,
What do you
guys
mean
do
getting
score on
caught
him.
by like who?
Yeah, like Matt Kemmer did Kemmer score on him a couple times
Yeah, but
in
you
that
also have to
match.
consider that like it's just Kemmerer gives like a weird look that like he hasn't seen before. Because if you're talking about Zahid just beat Hall. That's really all that happened.
Yeah, I mean Zahid's the whole other beast. It's
Yeah,
like crazy fast, and he's got like crazy length and
yeah,
like
of course.
strength for a guy who's that
Yeah,
big, that height.
yeah. But at this weight, I'm gonna have Miles Amin from Michigan taking the title, Aaron Brooks from Penn State going second, and Cameron Caffey from Michigan State going third.
Who was the Iowa guy at 184 this past year? Do they have anybody decent?
It was Nelson Brands to start off, and then it was Abe Assad.
Yeah, it didn't. He got like what was it
Sophomore.
like? Yeah, like a Big Ten finalist, something like he made the
No,
semis.
I think he was. The Big Ten Finals was Aaron Brooks versus Cam Caffey for Michigan State.
Oh yeah. 197.
But
Um,
I think Abe Assad goes like fifth or sixth in the Big Ten pretty easily.
yeah. All right, 197. Who do we
Okay, so
still have in there?
dude, my picks were insanely
Ben
weird.
is Ben Darmstadt still in there?
Yeah, I actually have. Interesting enough, I have Cordell Norfleet from Arizona State winning, who's ranked 10th right now as a junior.
Yeah.
He lost to Colin Moore 9-11, so it was a insanely close match. He took down Colin
Oh,
Moore.
I remember that match. I remember thinking like Colin Moore is the kind of guy he is at the end of the day like the best wrestler in that weight class, but really he could lose to anybody. Like he was not a dominant
I
like
think the reason why is like because if you looked at any of those, they weren't Norfleet getting on his own attacks. They were counters.
yeah.
Just him getting blown through. I think I actually have I have Ben Darmstead obviously going second, and Chase Singletary, the old heavyweight for Ohio State. He didn't wrestle last year because of Gary Traub. He decided to he's apparently making the cut to 197. He is ranked pretty 14th right now,
Yeah. What weight is Trent Hidley at?
184.
He's not a 197, he's 184 pounds.
Yeah,
All right.
this
And
weight class is
then
just weird, dude.
I mean,
It's
like I
like
feel like all weight classes, like especially like the year before, like the year of or the year
yeah,
after, like Olympic red shirts,
yeah.
it comes out completely different. Like
It's not
it always
even that.
feels
It's
like,
because we didn't have the national tournament.
yeah, so we
We
can't
don't
really
know
know
like
who's
which
on top.
guys are actually going to perform, which guys shouldn't.
Yeah, and you
Because I
also have
think
like
all these
this.
guys are really good. Like 12 of these guys.
Yeah.
I think J.I.L. might be a little bit overrated, and Tanner Sloan from South Dakota State.
All right. Can we talk freestyle actually? So,
Well, wait,
well, oh, it's like similar
yeah,
to what we were doing with the. All
I
right.
got you.
So first of all, 57, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's in it?
57
So
kgs.
57
Is that an Olympic weight
kilograms.
class?
Tell me about the Olympic weight class.
Dayton Fix,
So we got right.
Nick
So we got
Suriano,
Fix,
Suriano.
Siriano, Spencer Lee. I actually have a list here somewhere.
I don't
Right,
think Spencer Lee.
Thomas Gilman.
I
Thomas
don't think
Gilman.
Spencer Lee's going.
So we got
I
no,
don't.
no. I think he said he was. I think he said he
He
planned
said he
on,
was.
and I think that's also the reason why Thomas Gilman left to Penn State.
Yeah, I got.
You got Nato, you got Seth Gross, you got Vito Rujo.
Yep.
I think Joe Colon was going at 57, but I don't think he qualified yet or something like that.
No,
And
he
like
definitely
I,
qualified.
he did, and then
Yeah,
guys like Nash and
he's a
Guerrero, like
returning Olympian. I'm pretty sure.
Jack Mueller and like Darian Cruz. I think those were also all guys who are planned on going out to Olympic trials, but I think they
Yeah,
haven't
should be.
qualified for them yet, or they haven't announced it yet. So
I think
obviously,
you're missing somebody, dude.
was also I think what's his name, Zach Sanders. I don't really know too much about him. He was
Yeah.
just like one of the guys on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anybody else who qualified for 57. Maybe the other people planned on.
No, I think you're right. Because they have some like D2 guys at these weights, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. All right.
They're
So
mostly
61 isn't going to exist this year because we have
65 is the next
right.
one for sure, right?
Right. 65. Right. You got Zane, who was the returning world team member.
Yep.
Tyler Graff, who I think he's going 65. He wrestled 61. Yanni, who went on a hot streak for a little while, then lost to Zane. Jo has been looking like an absolute beast this year. If you ask me personally,
did we even say who we think is going to win at 57?
Well, we didn't say this thing's going. I personally think it comes down to either Gilman or Lee. Fix is you can't count Fix out, and he has beaten Spencer.
Yeah.
I think
I
Fields is really good freestyler. I think Gilman has a solid shot. I think Gilman there's a good chance.
The first time they wrestled, Fix won 9-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Gilman also redeemed himself after he lost to Fix, right?
Yeah. I just think Fix is a freestyle wrestler. Like he's not a folk style wrestler.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Like him and Serena are kind of opposites that way. Yeah. So anyway, at 65, I mean, like I haven't announced everybody yet, but at least if you ask me for an early pick, I would have JL, especially after he was looking this year.
Yeah, Jordan Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, look at the dude at senior nationals. Like the guy was just on a roll. Like he was taking everybody.
I got Zane.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Zane.
I just think Zane's the most consistent, most dominant. I think Jordan Oliver can get hit. Is probably going to lose to Yanni.
Jordan Oliver to Yanni. I don't think it would happen again. I think Yanni hit a funk roll, and that was just a one-time thing.
Him.
That's true. But like, if you just look at Jo,
Yeah.
how he is
No, I
right
get what
now,
you're saying.
like he's been right. Of course, you have Joey McKenna, who's like the man in the middle of all this. He took a couple losses from these guys, but he beat some of them as well. He beat Yanni, the last second takedown.
I don't think he beat
Um,
Yanni. It was over.
no,
I think
well,
Yanni
I mean
won.
that's debatable, but at the end of the day, whether he beat him or not, it's still
It's still a good
first of
match.
all, technically he beat him, right? And
Yeah.
it's right, it's still a good match. It proves that he
I
could
do
beat him.
think Joey McKenna takes that Jordan Oliver though.
That's tough, especially considering the last time
I
the
but like
rest
I think it's a
was
pure toss up. Like it all depends on who gets what draw, right? I think that Joey McKenna versus Zane Demostin. But Zane takes on Jordan Oliver. That's a very good match. But
yeah,
Yanni
or
Yanni
even
takes on Jordan
Zaniani
Oliver and
again.
Yanni whoops Jordan Oliver.
I don't think it was him.
Because
Then
it's
you got
just so weird style clashes.
yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know whether he was like retired or whether also maybe I heard something that he
Who?
was coming back about Logan Stieber.
No shit. No.
Is he retired like confirmed?
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
I doubt he's
Um
coming back for this though.
yeah.
It'll wait classic
I don't
season.
think he's quite on the level of the guys we were talking about before,
Yeah.
but Bryce Meredith I think is also going to be in the mix.
Yeah, Bryce Meredith could very well make some noise, like
Yeah. And he
because
does make
he
some
was
noise.
beating
He's
Yanni
like okay.
in the match until he got caught in the cradle.
Yeah, I mean that is folk style. It was a different
Yeah,
story.
of course, but
But yeah, Bryce Meredith was just on the list of those victims that JO
yeah,
took at senior nationals. You got Nick Lee, you got Frank Molinaro.
yeah, I don't think any
Um,
of those guys are in the question.
yeah, potentially Anthony Ashnault, Jaden Ironman,
Yeah, I know. Like
Gino,
as much as
Matt
I
Kolodzik.
no, actually, Jaden Ironman could very well make some noise in that bracket
Yeah,
because he's an actual
dangerous guy.
freestyler. I just think guys like Anthony Ashnault and Matt Kolodzic are just so irrelevant,
So at
honestly.
the end of the day, though, you have Zane Rutherford coming out on top, right?
At the end, yeah, I have Zane.
All right, here we are, best weight class of them all. We got 74.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first of all, let's just before we even say anything, let's just read off the list of guys we got out here. We got JB, we got Dake, we got James Green, Imar, Jason Knopf, Makai Lewis, David Carr, Evan Wick, Thomas Gann, Anthony Valencia, Logan Massa, Mark Hall, Vincenzo Joseph. And I think those are just guys who qualified.
Mm-hmm.
The list doesn't even end there. But yeah, that is one crazy stacked weight class. I think the best we've seen in a long time now. But yeah, let's talk about it, right? So, JB's gonna get the bye
I
to the
don't know how the seating works,
finals.
honestly.
If I'm not mistaken, I mean, I could double check. I could look back at later.
Like
I believe.
like JB is a returning Olympian, but
So
he plays
so
higher
hear me
levels.
out for a second. I think
Yeah,
this is how it works. If you are returning, whether it's Olympic or non-Olympic here, um, if you medaled at that weight, right, bronze,
yeah,
silver, gold, whatever it is, if you medaled at the weight you're going for the next year, you get an automatic bye to the finals.
yeah. But this is for Olympics.
Right.
I think
So I
that might
think
be a bit different.
the way it works, like I said, if it's at your exact weight, right? If you wrestle at an Olympic weight and you're going that Olympic weight, then you get the bye to the finals. If you wrestle the non-Olympic weight, I think you get a choice to go up or down, and you can go to the semifinals. If you want to ask like what happens, like if one guy goes up and one guy goes down, like in the same weight class, I'm not sure exactly. So if I'm not mistaken, I could double check it, but I think JB gets a bye to the finals,
Okay,
World Trade Trials, and Dake gets a bye to the semifinals on the
and
opposite side of the
then
bracket.
okay, so yeah, I got you.
I think that's how it works, right? So you got
Yeah.
them two. You got James Green. He's done a lot at 70 kilograms. Is he at the same level as these guys? I know you take your pick, but he definitely is an experienced freestyler. So you got Imar, who came real close to being JB.
Mhm.
He made a name for himself in freestyle the last like year or two.
Yeah,
He's done incredible things.
like the thing is, if I were to just see this based on like who I think is best, Dake gets the 1 seed, JB gets the 2 seed, Imar gets the 3 seed, James Green gets the 4 seed, Then who else is in the weight class?
You got Nolf, you got Makai Lewis.
Okay, no,
David
actually, I'd
Crow.
see Ryan Deacon as a
I'm
five.
not sure if Ryan Deacon is wrestling 74.
No, I think he has to be
He is?
because he wrestled
It makes
7.
sense.
He wrestled
It makes
7.
sense. I'm just not sure if some guys, even if they're able to, they're just not wrestling for. They're
Yeah.
not complying.
Honestly, if Ryan Deacon goes down to 65, he can beat Zayn.
That's interesting.
But that's a huge cut.
Right,
He
and you
looks like
talked
he's
about
cutting a lot of weight too.
you talked about Logan Massa. He's in this weight class as well.
I don't see him winning in a freestyle tournament. He's
Yeah,
more
and
of a
definitely
tough, gritty guy.
at the end of the day, like we talk about all these names, and maybe Imar is an exception, but none of these guys. At the end of the day, we all know it comes down to JB versus Dake.
I have Armor winning.
Really, you have Imar beating Dake.
Dude, no, Imar's my favorite wrestler. I'm just gonna in that weight
Yeah,
class.
I'm talking about your honest like.
In my honest opinion, what I think
Yeah,
happens is depending on how seeding falls. If uh if Dake will blast Imar most likely, right? Dake beats Imar, but
right.
Imar beats Burrows. So it all depends on the seeding falls. And Dake beats
Yeah,
Burrows.
just crazy. I mean, JB gets, like I said, he gets the bye till
Yeah.
the finals. But what I think is interesting. I see someone point this out is that you look at the history between JB and Dake, right? You have the 7-1, and it's obvious that JB has the history there. Can you talk about age being a factor? But I mean, he's only a bit older than Kyle Dake, maybe a year or two. So
Yes. No, isn't Burrows like 32 at this point?
Burrows is JB is around 31, 32, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Kyle Dake is at
28.
least 29, if not 30.
It's 28 for
He's
sure.
28. Are you
I'm
positive?
for sure now.
I mean, yeah. All right. So, but so as
Kyle
someone,
Dake is 29. Yep, as of
I
February.
saw this somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was, but some great points on why JB could beat Dake. Like I said, the history between them not even close. Dake has one win on criteria, even if
Yeah,
that
but
is
you also have
history.
to consider that
Yeah,
one
yeah, I know. Don't worry. I'm taking all the points into
was
account.
off of like a chest wrap too.
Right, right.
Chances that he lets him get the chest wrap probably not that high.
Yeah, I'm not talking about techniques. I'm just talking about when you look at it from the standpoint of
Yeah,
who's going to win on paper. I'm pretty sure that Dake hasn't beaten any world champions on his way to winning his own world titles. I
Dake
think
was a
all the
world
guys
champion though,
he's beaten world medalists, but I don't think he's ever been a world champion.
because
Meanwhile,
I
JB
think
is.
those guys retire, right?
You think
Because
which guys?
Sidakov is like the one world champ that exists.
Well, I mean, Chamizo is also world champ.
Who?
Chamizo, Frank Chamizo.
Yeah, but that was also at Burroughs. But I think Kyle Dake blast Frank Chamizo.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
Chamizo's
Burroughs
pretty
almost had him.
dangerous. JB has beaten Chamizo, over the years, but Chamizo's beaten him as well, even when JB
Yeah,
was like
but
going young.
those are when Chamizo was like on fire. Now he's gone down a lot, dude.
Maybe, but he's still very dangerous wrestler. He's still really good, like defense wise.
Yeah, 100%. He probably medals. He medals
Right.
for sure.
And we talk about JB maybe slowing down a little bit, but he's still adjusted really well his technique. He still gets his blast.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, if it's not as often as it used to be. And he's still one of the fastest guys on the planet in the sport of wrestling.
Yeah, the age catches up to you at a point. There's nothing you can really do about it. Maybe
Right,
that
but
plays a
he's
factor,
still,
maybe it doesn't.
even if he's slower, he's still real fucking fast.
If it comes down to match 3, I think JB wins.
You're right. But I'm saying my point is when you consider the fact like Dake might be a 2-time world champion, while JB has last 2 years gone bronze. But when you consider the fact that Dake didn't wrestle any world champions at bracket, and JB was up against Sidakov and Chamizo, like that really puts things like from a different
But
perspective.
one
Like
point I
if
think I
they
have to
wrestled
make,
each other's brackets, like what could have happened.
but one thing I have to make, one point I have to make, Dake was the best guy in the world, right? At 79,
Yeah.
hands down. Who's the second best guy? Alex Derringer, hands down.
Yeah.
Whoever
I
won
know the 79 guys, so
whoever won that wrestle off was gonna win the world gold. That's why I think like Derringer is so slept on. I think So what's the
That's
next
fair.
one? Yeah.
I mean, like, look, you also can consider the fact that Zahid challenged Dake the year before, and Dake beat him 2-0, but it wasn't dominant.
Yeah, but Dake's also
Like
not a guy who blows matches wide open like that.
that's true. He's a little more
He's
passive.
conservative, but he's almost impossible to score on.
He is very hard to score on, and it's not just that he scores off his defense too.
Yeah.
I think
Like
like
he hits big moves when he needs to, but that's really it.
yeah. So
It's because
that should be
not many
very
people
interesting.
throw at freestyle.
I don't think that at
No.
the end of the day, I don't think there's any clear answer between JB and Dake. I don't think it's like obvious which goes either way.
Yeah, 100%. Because you don't know. Ryan Deacon could literally come out of nowhere.
Right. And
And
like
then he
there are
can,
so many good wrestlers in that weight
because I
class.
think Ryan Deacon versus Kyle Dake is a great matchup.
Yeah.
Ryan Deacon,
It would be interesting to watch.
yeah,
Even though I would definitely favor Dake heavily.
yeah, of course. But
That being said, who do you have for 86? So you talked about Alex Dieringer being your pick, but we got right. If we look at our list of guys, we got David Taylor, right? He is coming off his injury, but don't forget that he won Worlds and he beat Yazdani on his way there,
yep.
which is no easy feat, right? You
Yeah.
got to be. That's not just the best in the world. That's really, really putting yourself out there. I am the best at this weight in the
Yeah,
world.
of course.
You got. I don't know what, like you said. I doubt he's gonna be able to compete because of the whole drug thing. But Zahid, at 86. If he was so somehow eligible, how far would he get? I don't know. He's
Places
interesting.
third.
Got to consider.
Places third.
Maybe. And hope maybe we'll see him next year, the year afterwards.
I think
I don't know about you. I still like seeing Zahid wrestle.
Yeah.
He's a very exciting guy to watch.
Yeah, of course.
He's
His
aggressive.
attack
He's
rate's
fast.
amazing. But against a
And
guy like Derringer, that attack rate gets shut down immediately.
that's true. He is faster than Derringer on his feet though.
Like he's
And
faster, but Derringer's again, like we talked about, he's
strong as
insanely
hell.
strong, and he's not.
Right. I mean, the way I see it, Zahid avoids the ties. Right.
Mhm.
He's very good. He's very good with his level changes. Getting
Yeah, but
real
if
low.
you see Zahid, the way he gets on his attacks, he keeps the collar tight. He goes snap, go, snap, go. Right? They're just like deep fakes a lot of the time. They're not even real leg attacks until he really pulls the trigger on him. I just think a guy like Derringer, you really just can't do that and beat him.
All right, and we got Miles Martin, he's come up short. He hasn't made,
I don't think that in a weight class that is so stacked. So we'll say Zahid's a 3-time national champ. Like that's what he would have been.
Yeah, 100%. You wouldn't have lost to anybody in that weight
There's
class.
no debate. The man was on drugs the entire time and whooping everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it wasn't
yeah, of course.
PEDs, so it wasn't like that. Really, you can't really, you can't really connect his performance and his drugs.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if you were like I'd have to
Yeah, it's not like they were steroids.
I'd have to ask if you worked for the NCAA if you did that. Like, that's just.
So what's it called? Zahid's basically a 3-time national champ. So is Derringer. David Taylor is a 2-time national champ.
Right, Miles Martin. He doesn't have those kind of accolades. He was competing with Bo Nickel for years.
No, Miles Martin's still a national champ, dude.
Right, and he beat Bo Nickel on his way there.
Yeah, his freshman year.
And he had him in his weight class for 3 out of 4 years in college. So
he had him every year.
No, not his senior year.
Not senior year.
His senior year, he should have won. He should have beaten.
I don't know, man. Like that looked like Drew Foster's weight class.
Not Gabe Dean, sorry, Max Dean.
But I don't think he should have lost to Max Dean. I just don't.
He should be Max Dean. I think he was 100% capable of being Drew Foster.
Yeah, I just don't. No, I think that was Foster's tournament to win. But I think in the Max Dean match, he should have tried to score a little bit more earlier. He played the match a little too conservatively, but he was humble about it. He talked about he's like, just get the next best thing.
Yeah.
He still has a national title. Pat Downey is the guy you forgot about.
Yeah, I was about to say next up you got Pat Downey. Right. I think what's interesting about Pat Downey is that I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler like who wrestles on that level,
Yeah,
who's representing USA, who's almost wrestling Greco. He's just all throws.
hmm
Like Pat Downey, I
because
haven't seen anybody who loves to throw as much as he does.
yeah, Kyle Dake's really the only person, and Kyle Dake's not even that. Kyle Dake's just like counters.
Yeah,
Pat Downey is a Greco dude though.
yeah, it's great. Like he's
Like
also like
Pat Downey is absolutely capable of pinning anybody at any moment.
yeah, he can hit a big move. He can hit a suplex on
Yeah,
anybody.
is
Agree.
Nate Jackson listed for
Right.
you?
That's my next up. Nick
My
Jackson,
bad, I got you.
also very athletic, quick wrestler. You know, he had some interesting, like college moments as well. He had some
Yeah,
close matches with Bo Nickel. I think he even beat him once or twice. He's done pretty well in this. He did lose to Zahid in that in the senior nationals. And to be honest, I haven't watched too much of him. I'll see how he is in freestyle, but he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I
yeah,
think
of
we can all agree
course.
on that. Like he's still a legitimate contender.
Again, that blast double from Nate Jackson, the cram right there. So I mean,
Oh, the Cram, man, I love
yeah,
that video. Cram. Nate Jackson's actually he can sing too.
yeah,
He had a video of he sang the national anthem.
yeah. I know.
Pretty
I
good
saw
job of
that.
it too.
It was a while
Yeah,
ago.
it's funny. You'd never expect guys like Nate Jackson or Jaden Cox with the ability to sing. Like these guys are absolute beasts on the mat,
Yeah,
and like meanwhile they're sitting out here like just singing like as if like some kind of like country
yeah.
art or something. It's crazy. Yeah, moving
So
on with the list.
I think you're missing
Um,
somebody. 86.
Drew Foster is next
Nah.
up. He's just in there. I think
Yeah.
he was playing qualifying. I don't know if he actually did yet,
Wait.
but
Just run through the list for me real quick at 86.
DT, Zahid, Alex Dieringer, Miles Martin, Pat Downey, Nate Jackson, Drew Foster.
Was there like a Nate Brewer on there?
Maybe.
I remember
I'm not sure.
There was some D2 dude who's absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
Well, no. What about Mark Hall, dude?
Mark Hall, I think, is 74. He's always been a bit small for like a 174 in college. It makes no sense
Yeah,
for him to go
yeah,
86.
you're right. I don't think Bo
Um,
Nickel goes 86. I think he very well
no,
could.
he's definitely going 97, which
Yeah,
is interesting because Kyle Snyder's in
yeah,
NLWC
but
now.
I think it's
So,
just because of David Taylor.
is there any kind of like, how does the rules work in terms if you have two guys from the same wrestling or signed to the same wrestling club?
That does not matter whatsoever.
They could be wrestling in Final X or the
Yeah, of
World
course.
Team Trial
Yeah,
Finals. So
as far
yeah,
as I know, yeah.
that should be interesting. But the way I see it, I think they would both. I don't know if they get clapped, but I think they both get. I think Jaden Cox beats both of them, whether he has to run through both of them or not. Like at the end of the day,
Honestly, I think Bo was a lot overhyped in that match against Jaden Cox, but I think Jaden might have played that a little bit conservatively, a little hesitant to get on his tax.
yeah. I think also he wanted to beat him, but he also wanted to shut
Yeah,
Bo down. He didn't want Bo scoring him, and I
yeah.
don't think he did. Right, he didn't give up any points.
I think Jaden puts up at least 7 points in the first match.
Yeah, I see Jaden saying like, it's more important that I wrestle well
Yeah,
than me
because
not
worst
getting
case
points.
scenario,
Put
like
more of a
honestly, like
flurry.
yeah,
Bo will
because
get like
Jaden has to
one. Bo
stick
will
to
get
the
one
counters. Like that.
scramble maybe. Bo will get like maybe one scramble, takedown. Or do one of those things where he'll look for a big move like get behind, try to go suplex, but ends up settling for two or something like that. But he'll get one takedown, maybe one push out or something, but nothing else on Jaden. And
Yeah,
Jaden goes on scoring flurry because if there's one guy that actually can light Bo Nickel up, it's probably Jaden. And Kyle Snyder
Kyle Snyder
probably,
dogs Bo Nickel. It's not even close. Ooh,
yeah.
actually, no, no, no.
Here's the
Because
thing. One
what I
thing,
think is, if you just go back to the basics, right? Kyle Snyder loves the double foot fake to a high crotch. Is
yeah,
he getting on Bo Nickel? No.
he's good. He's good on slide by still. But wait, don't forget about this. And it's really funny to watch both of them. You could tell with Snyder, you can't tell them just Bo Nickel.
Did you ever watch?
Those two guys are some of the strongest guys you'll see at
Yeah, of
97.
course.
Bo
Pat
Nickel
Brookie
isn't
too.
look at Bo Nickel isn't look at, but when you look at him cradling guys, when you hear his stories, he doesn't look. He's not jacked, but Bo Nickel is an incredibly strong
Yeah,
guy at that weight. At Kyle Snyder, you can tell, man. The guy's like as
yeah.
thick as like I don't even know what he lifts.
Jaden
He
Cox is
has
the strongest, no
crazy
doubt.
lifting videos. I don't think Jaden's so much strength. I think it's more athleticism. He's a strong guy too, but I think
No,
for him it's more about
Jaden's
athleticism.
a freak, dude.
I mean, is he as strong as like Snyder or Bo?
100% stronger.
I mean, when you talk about a guy like in terms of, like lifting numbers, like Snyder's crazy.
You also
He's
have to
got to be
realize
the
Snyder is also shorter than them both by a good amount.
right, and that's why he's so strong.
No, that has nothing to do with strength. It's just like if you take a guy who's 6'6", he could be benching 225, and a guy who's like 6 feet tall who's benching like 285. It's the same strength. It's just the numbers are different. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean, long arms there's no longer, but
Yeah.
that's a separate thing.
Like numbers are so irrelevant at that point. I think
Yeah, it's
wrestling
true.
wise
It's
in the
true.
way he's able to use the strength, that Cox's strength is used more
Right.
superior.
He's got the speed
Yeah.
that you don't necessarily see. Like,
I think Snyder could get into some trouble. The thing is, if the seeding goes the way you said it will, Snyder's gonna get the 1 seed, right? And then
yeah,
Cox is gonna get the 2 seed. But if it doesn't go that way, and then Snyder and Bo end up meeting, Bo could very well stick him. And I say this because you see the way Snyder gets on shots, right? If you ever saw the match between Kyle Snyder and Kyvan Gadsden in the national finals,
yeah,
you see that?
yeah. I seen that. He only got lat
The
drop,
way he
right?
got in on the shot, it wasn't even a latch up. He got in on the shot, the same shot. Kyvan Gadsden dug an under over, went outside trip into like a Polish kind of. So we're just like he just falls right, like tabletop, and then
Yeah,
he stuck him. I think if you can't attack both straight on. That's the thing. And Kyle Snyder, I don't see him getting those angles on Bo that Jaden Cox can or showed he can create.
yeah.
And
I
another guy we're
mean,
sleeping on is Kyvan Gadsden, who could pull his big moves.
right.
But
Sure, he's the
Kyle
guy who
Snyder
beats
sets him
him.
every time. So
Yeah, I don't think he stands a legitimate chance
yeah.
against those guys. Then the day
But
my pick
what's
is
his
still
no?
my pick is still Jaden, just because like
Yeah.
he's just been an absolute like
A guy who you all
freak.
are sleeping on is Hayden Zilmer. He beat Colin
Yeah,
Moore.
I haven't watched too much of him.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
He was
But
a
like,
D2 wrestler. He was more Greco. He has some amazing throws. But Colin Moore is a guy like not to be slept on. Like
yeah. I mean,
I just think
random thought. Just like
yeah.
interpret for a second. I think I think the like when they had international like rankings pound for
Mhm.
pound right after World
Yeah.
Championships, I think it was if I remember correctly, like Saud July first,
Mhm.
Sidakov second, Jaden third, I think Yazdani fourth,
Yeah.
and then Kyle Dig fifth.
Mhm.
If DT didn't get injured at Beat the Streets, we all know he's capable of being Yazdani, and he went out there and won 86
Mhm.
World Championships. We like at USA, we could have had 3 guys top 5
Yeah.
ranked.
But
That could have
honestly,
been
that scenario,
crazy.
Dake gets bumped up, DT right below him, and then Gizdani below him.
But either way, Jaden, Dake,
Yeah.
and Taylor are all going to be top 5. Jaden obviously not getting a point.
Yeah.
Isn't going anywhere below 3 seed.
100%.
And Dake
As you
and
know,
Taylor repeating.
Jade's never made the Olympics at that weight.
Well, what was he? He wrestled 86 last time, right? At that
Yeah, he ended up
2016.
beating David Taylor for the spot.
Oh, yeah, that was a good find. That was a
And
good
he
final
got a
choice.
bronze medal at the Olympics. But
Yeah.
Asad Live is the
Pe-
one who
pe-
won.
People don't talk about like Jaden before 2018 or even
Yeah,
before 2019, but he was good.
yeah,
I mean,
of
the man's
course.
always been hustling for years.
Jaden Cox actually wrestled a heavyweight in high school.
That's something I didn't know. You know, you learn new things every
Yeah,
day.
I just remember that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He was new levels of athletic. But the thing is, Jaden Cox can also cut like 10 pounds in like an hour.
See, he's one of those guys who can cut easily.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and
like
his
just like
flexibility too. I think
when
is
you
a major
watch
thing.
Jaden, I think one of his biggest things is his ability to move on the mat is like nobody else can do that.
Yeah,
Like his
it's
ability to
not
get
even like
down, post a hand, slide on the knees. He's so slick. Like everyone's seen that clip where he was wrestling Kyle
Kyle
Snyder
Snyder.
at
Hmm.
the NYAC, and he just calling it a misdirection signal is a massive understatement. Like the
Yeah,
dude just like took a wide step one way, reached for Snyder's ankle, just basically dove the other way, poked his head out, and just like he put Snyder on his back off a misdirection signal. Like to be
Yeah.
able to do that, like Clinton, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, 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 of course. But the main
Everyone's
thing
that went
about
viral in the wrestling world.
Jaden Cox that people underestimate is not only his athleticism, because like everybody on the level is athleticism. It's his different. It's his ability to be athletic while moving toward in like different planes.
Like changing up the pace, like going up.
It's not even like he can go like normal guys. They go sideways. They go quick sideways forward. He can go like sideways and shoot back the other side and shoot back that way.
You
So
mean
say
like
from
his
like this, he's
angles and
going
like his
sideways, come
attacks?
back and go out here.
You're saying
They
like his angles and attacks are like can come from anywhere?
like he can be on your right, go forward, hop back to the left, and literally hit a tap faking all the way and be back behind you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I just talked about like his motion. Like
Yeah.
he can get anywhere. He's basically can teleport from like
It's not
anywhere.
even like if you look at guys like Miles Martin, Miles Martin's one of the most athletic guys, right? If you see
Yeah.
him, his attacks are you can tell they're planned because he'll go for like double misdirections and stuff, and he'll get immediately shut down. He doesn't know what to do after. Jaden, you see him at times, you'll think he's going for a misdirection. He just grabs the leg.
Yeah,
I've
because
looked.
like you just can't
I've
do anything
actually like
about it.
slowed down the film and looked at it a lot, right? And every time the leg's like actually not there, like he doesn't go for it. The leg's just not there, so you can tell he's like actually like reacting in real time, which is crazy to have like that wrestling IQ to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it'd just be really interesting if we ended up
Yeah,
like I think it'll make a great world final if
yeah,
somehow we can get Jaden versus
yeah.
Saja live.
And the same with the guy like Jason Nolf. Like Jason Nolf is like he has so much underrated athleticism just because he's like white, you know.
Yeah, he's
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 just
very quick on his
outclassed
feet.
honestly in the weight, so it's
Yeah, I
kind
think
of tough.
Jason Nolf is like, regardless of what you could say of him not being as good in freestyle, as folk style and going up against guys like Imar
No, it's not
or
even being
Jacob
that. It's
Burrows.
just the weight class got substantially easier for him. Like Tyler Berger in the national finals, like it's not the same thing.
It's true. Are you talking about college right now?
I'm talking
Yeah,
about both. Like it's not he's equal in both. He's just more outclassed in this one. Like
yeah,
I get he pinned Imar in college, but like Imar is up at a new level now.
yeah. Imar just keeps getting better,
So
and
we just hit
he's
our 2
also
hours.
for real.
Yeah,
It's insane, man. Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm already like we talked about. Like, he's just one of those guys that's crazy strong.
yeah,
Like he's real good upper body, and like when you watch the NCAA finals, like you're the Nets talking about the fact like he was so good with an underhook,
yeah.
overhook on either side.
He has the same attack. He has the same attack series without lefty underhook that Gable Steveson does.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just interesting to see like the way they replicate it.
yeah. You know what else I love watching? Like in terms of like his style, I love watching David Taylor wrestle, and
Yeah,
the fact that he also wrestles, he wrestles like Kale. It's
yeah,
a guy from like those low level attacks. Have you ever watched Kale in college? There isn't a whole lot of
yeah. Of
footage, but
course.
the
No,
dude
his
like
film is everywhere, dude.
that is like I think it was so unique. Like not so unique, sorry, that's the wrong word. But like it is so cool to watch him wrestle. I think I believe it was Dan Gable who said it. I think he put it best. He said Kale Sanderson, he moves like water to the path of least resistance. And like there's no way you could have
Yeah,
put better where you could have put that. When you watch Kale wrestle, it looks like the guys are like, like you're playing some kind of video game and you put them on rookie mode.
yeah.
Like
Did you
he's
see
just going there
Kale
and making it look
versus?
easy.
You see Kale versus Daniel Cormier?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course, everybody's in that match.
yeah,
And like, Cormier's real strong, fast, athletic,
yeah,
especially at the time, and Kale's just grinding out there, like just
yeah,
going through nothing. He just ankle picked him straight to his back.
yeah.
I mean,
And
it wasn't really an
same
ankle
like
pick; it
with
was
his
kind of a little
coaching style
circle.
too. You can see, like Bobby Douglas was his coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like how he has like the whole chill back thing. Like I've never heard Kale yell anything unless
yeah.
it's absolutely necessary.
I mean, he's like also like a very like smooth, like and cunning guy
Yeah, of
behind the
course.
scenes in the backgrounds. There's
It's
the
like
whole thing that happened with
he'll never
Suriano.
yell at a kid or like yell at
Yeah.
them, say anything bad about them. But like if like everybody respects him, like that's the thing.
Yeah, I always wondered like how Like I always thought the relationship between him and like Bo Nickel probably must have
Yeah.
been like really interesting. Because even though Kale's a laid back coach, he isn't like Brands. Um, like Bo, a guy like Bo, like the fact like you go with like even like any college team, I can't see like any coach like not getting even like a little bit like upset with the way he wrestles, like no matter how talented he is,
Who, Bo
and like
Nickel?
yeah, and probably the way he carries himself like in
Why?
practice. Like I don't know, like I've I saw a thing like where Chenzo was being interviewed and he talked about like how Bo does like a lot of these things, like he's getting the crowd hyped up, but he also did it for like the attention a little bit, like all these just crazy moves, these crazy pins. I'm like, I can't tell you for sure. I don't know Bo personally.
Yeah, but no,
Like
you
he
also have to
doesn't seem to be
realize.
like the most coachable like wrestler.
Yeah, no. If you've seen Bo, like when he needs to get on those attacks, if you ever saw a Bo Nickel versus Gabe Dean,
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, yeah, but
so
when Bo needs to go fundamental, he does.
yeah,
He knows how to attack.
yeah.
You
It's
let him
like
do
I've.
so.
Have you ever seen him mess up a big move though?
I mean, he's gone. Like Miles Martin has hit a couple moves on him.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's also his freshman year. You know what I'm saying? That's
that's
also when
true.
Bo was just like
That's
he's a
true.
young kid. I can throw
That is one of
anybody.
the things you see. Like it's unique to Bo that he truly came out on top no matter what he did. Like
Yeah,
even the best guys out there didn't like.
like
You
his
wouldn't
senior
have
year,
guys terrified to wrestle him. Like
yeah,
guys did not want to wrestle him.
like in his senior year, nobody was good. Colin Moore was the only guy to compete with him.
And he beat Colmore 3 times and all that. We all know the NCAA final could have been a lot more dominant. Like he just looked like he was sleeping on
No,
that NCAA
honestly,
final.
like how like the first match, it was a fluke. Like you know what I'm saying? Like Colin Moore came out too aggressive, and he got caught with the cradle.
Yeah, but you know
It's
what?
not like Bo was ever gonna get it.
Looking at Bo and like you think about how crazy Bo's cradles were,
Yeah,
and how good of a pinner he was. I don't think it's a shock that Colin Moore gets pinned. I don't. I think that could happen again. Does it happen 10 times out of 10? No, but could it happen like 5 times out of 10? Yeah, it
no,
could.
I
Like
doubt it. I think it was just like a
he
one
could
time
pin.
thing because you saw.
He cranked he locked up a cradle on Colin Moore and then safe on, but he didn't crank it. He could have done a lot
You
more
also have to
damage.
realize like it's a lot harder to do it like the second time because
Maybe, but Bo is crazy strong. He when you've seen his highlights, you even made a video highlight right of Bo
yeah, of
Nickel.
course. But you also
If you
you know that like
even
Colin
if
Moore.
even if it is the second time, and even if Colin Moore has watched film on him, when Bo gets a quick cradle locked up, it doesn't matter who he's up against. The man
Yeah,
can lock up anybody, regardless of how much film they watched of him and how many times they've wrestled him. You can't do anything once Bo's got a cradle.
yeah,
I think
100%.
Bo kind of held back on it. This is his last college match. He was gonna win anyways. He didn't want to embarrass Colin Moore. So
Yeah,
he didn't crank it up. He didn't do anything crazy. He just left one last time, winning a modest, solid match, and
yeah. It
that's
was
how he's
5-2.
gonna
It
go.
was still pretty dominant.
That was right. Obviously, you shut him down. I'm just saying in
Mhm.
terms of fact, he wasn't gonna like major hit. He wasn't gonna go for some crazy pen. Um. So yeah, but like we all know, Bo could have ripped up that cradle.
Maybe I don't know. It,
I see him because he's pinned so many guys.
yeah, but I
Where
don't think you guys give Colin Moore enough credit. Like just in general.
yeah, he's grip like how what can you do at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, what can you do once Bo Nickel cradles you up?
I don't think he wasn't in position to run a cradle like that.
Whenever Bo has a cradle locked up, it doesn't matter what position he's in, he always manages to put the guy in his back.
I don't know, man. Yeah, but who? Tell me who Bo Nickel has pinned. That's insanely good.
Well,
Pat
he
Brucky is
pinned.
the best too.
Yeah, I was about to say he pinned Pat
Yeah.
Bucky, right? He pinned
So Pat
couple times.
Brucky
He
placed.
pinned Miles Martin. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
was
mean,
it
yeah,
multiple
but
times or
that
just
wasn't with the cradle. That was with some absolute BS move he pulled out of his ass.
yeah?
So, no, but just listen real quick with that Pat Brucky match. He pinned Pat Brucky late in the third period.
Yeah,
No,
cradle.
late in the second period, I think.
Something like that. I don't know. I know it was on
So
a cradle.
Colin Moore wrestled Preston Weigel and beat him 11-3, majored him. People even had Colin Moore losing to Preston Weigel, and then Preston Weigel ended up, I think, whooping what's his name, Pat Brucky 7-1. So theoretically, Colin Moore could very well attack or pin Pat Brucky also.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of like, A beats B,
Yeah, I
BBC.
know
I'm
that,
not a
but
big fan of comparing that. Honestly, I
I
don't
just
think
think their
that's a
style
legitimate. I don't think that's
contrast.
a legitimate point.
You realize guys can't be over aggressive on Bo Nickel. You can't be over aggressive on Colin Moore either, because he will take you right over with that dump, and he's stuck. You know Jared Hart.
No.
Yeah. That was like the 1 year night, and the 197 was like Mike Machiavello in the finals.
Oh yeah.
It was like the year Kyle Cannell made the huge run. The guy who made the national finals, who lost.
Yeah, I remember Kyle
Colin Moore
Cano.
pinned him.
Didn't he
Remember
keep
the
in
first
Colin
period.
Moore? Kyle
Yeah,
Cano
Cannell
pinned
pinned
Colin Moore.
Colin Moore in the first round in like
He
the
did
quarterfinals.
twice, no?
He
He did
beat
it
him twice.
again,
He
like
didn't
for
pin
the
him the
third
second
place.
time. He beat him in
Yeah.
third place, 4-3. I
Yeah,
think.
then Kyle Cano ended up being like kind of like I say, like a bust for Penn
Yeah,
State.
pretty much. Dude, it's starting to get kind of late.
Yeah, I was thinking I should probably read now. It's getting like me
Yeah.
so tired. Man, this I also like just wondering like who the hell is even gonna watch this 2.5 hour, 2 hour
Dude, you'd be
podcast thing?
surprised. Like some people watch this. Yeah,
Man,
yeah, like
they gonna give me some shit about from what I said. I don't know. I said a lot of stuff. I have no idea how much of it's like be held accountable for.
yeah, like honestly, like I might as well upload this to like Apple Podcast or something else. So you
Yeah,
want to just start wrapping
yeah,
it up now?
yeah. Actually, I was just listening to a podcast. I
Yeah,
think Gabe Dean interviewed Anthony Robles.
yeah.
He's a pretty inspirational guy.
All right, so
Yes, it's good stuff. All right,
I doubt
so
really anybody got this far. It's like we're 2 hours and 11 minutes in. So I guess we'll start wrapping it up, guys. This has been Heavyweight Nation podcast number 5 with Ari Gross. Thank you for
all
joining
right,
us, man.
peace out. Yeah, thanks for your time.
If wait, make sure don't leave the thing. Just be sure to like and subscribe if you got this far. Comment, why not? And I should be back with another episode either tomorrow or the day after. Peace, guys.